Texting.
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 Texting. Texting. Texting. Texting.
Texting.
Texting.
Mark, Will, and Tomek present
Texting.
Hello, all you textual deviants, and welcome to another episode of Texting. This is Season 4, Episode 6, 64 to 1, featuring special guests. Hania, say what up.
Hey.
Listeners, she dapped. And the dapper Craig. Say hello,
Hi,
Craig.
how's it going? Hi.
Awesome. So we've got a truly international panel, as far as location anyway. So I'm your trusty host, April Madness, in St. Petersburg, Russia, joined by my co-host,
Mark Will in Taipei.
So we've got a very unique podcast for you today, using a college basketball tournament format. Those of you who follow American college basketball know that every March there is a tournament which takes 64 university basketball teams through a chaotic 2 weeks of games and crowns one winner at the end. So today we have compiled a list, well, Mark and I specifically, of 32 each of artists that we love. Not necessarily that we want to argue, so have some kind of more legitimacy to greatness, but just our preference of 32 artists. Would you agree with that, Mark?
Well, musical artists, let's be clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're calling this a Pazz and Jop tournament. That phrase was popularized by the music journalist Robert Christgau. He always does a Pazz and Jop poll. It's basically jazz and pop. So no classical composers are included on this list. It's jazz, rock, pop, mostly rock and pop, but there are a couple of jazz musical artists represented too. And they're going to match up head to head. Then we'll narrow the 64 down to the field of 32, narrow the 32 down to the Sweet 16, then the Elite 8, then the Final 4, and then the championship matchup.
And I guess unlike college basketball, where they would strategize in a way that you'd get the top seeds meeting at the end, since we have all 64 in a random box, we could get two intense heavyweights meeting in the first round, and we'll have to say sayonara to a legend. Although, to be fair, maybe all 64 are legends, but you get the idea. So these are unseeded. Hania and Craig, what are your first thoughts about today's pod or the format? Hania, how about you?
Some nervousness about who will get matched against who and what kinds of cutthroat decisions we'll be facing, but on the whole, pretty excited.
And we want to congratulate Hania on getting a snowball mic and joining Mark and I. So welcome to the family. And Craig, what do you think about this this format? Is it ridiculous or
No? Just to be different, I don't have a snowball mic, so maybe that's a good starting point for where my musical taste will take us as well. But I would say, off the top of my head, this format should be much more exciting than any college basketball game I've ever seen.
Fair enough.
Which is none.
Okay. I do occasionally will watch my alma mater, University of Arizona, who are renowned for their basketball team. But Mark, do you ever watch college basketball?
Or
did you?
I have in the past, but not recently. I'm out of touch with American sports.
Yeah, me too.
March Madness. I know the phrase March Madness.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, listeners, there is a kind of pre-built-in bias that we've attempted to equalize somehow. So obviously we've got one brother and sister on the panel who grew up with the same parents, the same region, and a fairly similar generation. So our tastes are going to overlap a lot. And I'm guessing Mark, would you say you and Craig have very similar tastes, or somewhat? I mean, where's the crossover between you two?
Well, I think I'll let Craig speak for himself, but I know that we have similar tastes in music. We played music together when we were in Korea. We were in a band called Princess Disease together, and we were in a Stones cover band called Sticky Fingers. And Craig played with a Beatles cover band as well, and the 40 Days, who had a lot of classic rock inspirations, I would say. But I'll let Craig speak for himself.
Yeah, Mark's covered it all pretty well there. I think maybe our age is similar as well, or we're of a similar age, and yeah, musically we have a lot in common, but not everything. So there are maybe some surprises ahead.
Yeah. I know of at least one. I'm thinking of at least one that he's going to object to. But yeah, basically, Craig and I are rockers, and it's two rockers.
You can even say old rockers, Mark.
Old
I'll take
rockers,
that moniker.
yeah, sure. Yeah,
Two rockers against two ravers.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I want to say
That's how I would put it. It's like the rock generation versus the hip hop generation. But we'll see. I mean, I'm sure there will be many surprising overlaps, and as we should probably explain to listeners and viewers, if there is a 2-2 tie, well, we will simply result to the flipping of a coin.
And I actually just realized I'd planned on having a coin handy. Do any of you have a coin on your person? Otherwise, I can make a run.
I got one.
All right, Craig, you have a huge responsibility
right
then, all right? Because you're going to be breaking a lot of ties today, and we trust you to be a man of your
We'll
word.
take the €2 coin.
Okay, perfect. Are there heads
Let's
on
take it out
those,
of
or
my
do they just
tip
have
jar.
like some kind of symbols on one side?
What do we have on the euro? We have a 2 on one side, and we have a kind of Euro-y type. I don't know what it is on the other. It's like an eagle or something on the other side. There's a number on one side and not on.
All right, so we can call that numbers and eagles. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
All right. So,
why don't we go heads and tails? Why don't we say the numbers as tails?
okay, numbers is tails. All right.
That's too much information for me to remember. Eagles and numbers.
Well, it's a direct match. You're just gonna look and you're gonna say it's a number. All right, fuck it. So
I'm under pressure now, right? What have I done?
exactly. No fumbly hands. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure our tastes will be further elucidated as the program takes fruition. So for now, listener, we're going to give very, very brief introductions into the 64 artists who have made the cut. These are in alphabetical order, and you'll be familiar with most of them, I'm sure. Maybe there'll be a few that are new to you. So without any further ado, the first artist on our list is Animal Collective, experimental art house band, and very unique and
That's
amazing.
That's your choice. I listened
It's
to
my
one of
choice,
their
yeah.
I listened to one of their albums at your suggestion. Had like a cartoon cover. I don't remember the name, but
Okay, let's save kind of any, because we're gonna have so we'll just keep it super brief, not to be a dickhead.
Oh,
But because it's gonna come up later. So this is just to tell people who this artist is.
I see.
All right, next up, Hania. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Beck. He's like a genre hopping artist who reinvented himself a few times, but in a word, maybe like alternative or indie artist.
Okay,
Mutations.
Scientology?
or Craig.
I'll let Mark take this one.
I've heard of this group. I think they're British. The Beatles. Yeah. I've listened to some of their songs.
All right, we
And
can
albums.
go through that.
I think Bob Dylan refers to them as prudes in Complete Unknown, because I was just watching that today.
All right, we've got the stunning and enigmatic and also intensely experimental Icelandic artist Björk.
That's a great picture. Okay, Craig, that's yours.
From Birmingham, Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Performing in Birmingham this year for the very last time with Ozzy Osbourne and about a million other artists. So I think it's in June or July.
And no Bill Ward, right?
No, he is playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, we will
Oh,
talk about this
man.
later then.
Okay.
We'll get to a
All
whole
right.
thing about it.
All right, Hania.
Yeah, Black Star, they were one of the forefronts of like the so-called conscious hip-hop movement, strongly affiliated with like The Roots, Mos Def, Erykah Badu.
And we should clarify that the two members of Black Star are Talib Kweli and Mos Def.
Bob Dylan, American singer-songwriter, Nobel laureate.
Bob Marley, reggae.
This is mine. CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, great rock band fronted by the great songwriter John Fogerty.
The well-known electronic duo from France, Daft Punk. The Soulquarian, jazz singer, soul singer, organist, D'Angelo.
David Bowie, who needs no introduction. Death Grips. This is my contribution to the hip-hop discussion. I didn't want you two youngsters to monopolize that conversation, so
Thank you.
yeah, I included Death Grips on my list of 32. Craig?
The Doors.
Yes, sir.
Of perception.
Yes, actually. The Eagles, who also need no introduction. Elton John, this was an overlap. It was on Tomek's list, but he had more than 32, so he asked me to include it on mine. I'm not sure he would have made my top 32, but certainly an argument can be made for him, so there he is.
The white savior, Eminem. The Polish avant-garde rapper, Fish, F-E-S-Z.
Fleetwood Mac, this was also on Tomek's list. But yeah, they deserve to be part of the conversation for sure. This is also mine. Iggy Pop / Iggy and the Stooges. We'll see how that plays out. I mean, Iggy, I don't know. It's not the same Iggy solo versus Iggy with the Stooges, but we'll see what the matchups are like.
The extraordinary and unfortunately deceased producer, Jay Dilla. The experimental pop phenom from England, James Blake.
James Brown, the hardest working man in show business. What, are you going to just pass over him?
My bad.
Come on.
Hania, do you want to do this one?
The king of
respect, young man. You know.
Yeah, king of soul. And speaking of soul, Seoul, Craig and I both saw him perform just before his death.
Wow, that's amazing.
And JD vanced him.
Jealous.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hania?
Yeah, I mean, how do I describe just amazing pop singstress, but soulful.
We haven't said the name yet.
Janet Jackson.
Okay.
Michael
Janet
Jackson's
Jackson.
sister. LaToya
Yes.
Jackson's sister. Yeah.
All right. Hova, God MC, from Brooklyn, Jay-Z.
Friend of Diddy. Jimi Hendrix. I mean, what can we say about him, Craig?
Messianic.
Messianic,
So
revolutionized
from God MC
guitar
to the
playing.
Messianic guitarist.
Revolutionized guitar playing. Yeah, also a very good songwriter.
Underrated songwriter. I think
Underrated songwriter,
arguably,
yes.
yeah.
Let's put it that way. Yeah, Joy Division. I think this was on your list too originally, Tomek, and you didn't have room for them in your list of 32, but certainly I was going to put them on my list anyway, so it's all good.
Nice.
Love the post-punk.
Polish rap group Kaliber 44. We recently did an episode on their seminal album 63 Minutes Around the World. So they're in the conversation. The Hitler of our generation, Kanye West.
Is that musical Hitler or just like Hitler in general? I mean, I don't know. Are we specifying Hitlerisms or what?
No,
Anyway,
it's
moving on.
Encompasses all. All right, the critics' darling and probably my favorite contemporary rapper, Kendrick Lamar.
KJ, Killing Joke, another post-punk group. They've become important to me in the last 10 years, I guess. And their guitarist, Jordy, recently passed.
The Russian late Soviet band Kino. We've also done a podcast on them. Probably the most celebrated Russian rock band ever. Hania?
Yeah, kind of neo soul singer, Lauryn Hill, amazing voice, sadly not very prolific, but what she did release was so influential, I think.
And also
El
she,
Boogie.
yeah, and she was also part of the band The Fugees, which we should mention.
Craig?
Led Zeppelin.
Late addition to the list. After I worked out of the gym today to a mix of Madonna tracks, I decided I have to find a spot for her. So she's...
And who got the boot?
We'll keep that unsaid.
Okay.
Thank you. King of Pop, Michael Jackson.
Miles Davis. I guess this is the first jazz artist in the list, in this alphabetical list. What can you say about him? How many different styles of music did he explore and invent? How influential was he? Hard to measure. Morrissey, like Iggy, we should maybe consider his work with the Smiths too, but I listed him as a solo artist because I think, as Craig and I, or sorry, it was Steve and I recently discussed in our episode on You Are the Quarry, the pen is mightier than the guitar in some cases. Craig?
Uncle Neil Young.
Neil Young, yes. Vaccine enthusiast, unfortunately, but yeah.
Got another new album out.
Okay, I didn't know.
So the predecessor to Jay-Z, I would say, in terms of the king of the rap scene in New York, the Notorious B.I.G., a.k.a. Biggie Smalls.
Biggie, yep.
Perhaps the most influential rap group of all time, Outkast from Atlanta, Georgia.
Dirty
South. The progressive house DJ from Berlin, Paul Van Dyke. We've also done an episode on him in the past.
Yes.
The producer extraordinaire, Pharrell Williams, also part of the band NERD and the beat collective Neptunes, responsible for many more songs than perhaps you realize.
Public Image Limited, also known as PIL, fronted by John Lydon, a.k.a. Johnny Rotten of the Sex Pistols. Interestingly, for me, PIL as a post-punk group is more important than the Sex Pistols. That might not be a very popular opinion, but it's my idiosyncratic take.
There you go.
Craig?
The screen, you can see Pink Floyd and maybe in happier times. I'm not sure when this photo was taken, probably like early 70s, I would say.
That's what it looks like.
Four of them. Sid's not there, so it's maybe 71, 72.
I was wondering because I threw this slideshow together just before the pod, and I was nervous about a couple of bands because I knew, like, I didn't know which iteration I should be showing or whatever, so...
We have to consider the whole history, I mean...
Of course.
Yeah, so that'll
So
come
who are we
up.
missing in this picture?
In this photo.
Well, Syd Barrett's gone. I mean, he
who's
was...
that?
Well, he was the original... I mean, he was the leader before Roger and before David.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So this is like round 2 of the band.
Yeah, you could put it that way, but Sid's stint as leader didn't last that long. He burned out pretty quickly.
Okay.
This was also on Tomek's list, and they got bumped for someone else, and I decided to put them on. I don't know that they would make my top 32, but an argument can definitely be made for their kind of white reggae and, you know, great songwriting, interesting guitar, and a really unique drummer. But we'll get into that more. Oh my goodness, the one and only,
the pop
the purple
icon
one.
From Minnesota, Prince.
Bob Dylan. Oh, no, not that one.
Yeah. It's funny, I work with a colleague from Minnesota, and he shouts out both of those artists, but he always likes to say Bob Zimmerman. I don't know why.
Because that's his name.
Yeah, sure, but he likes to kind of take the piss in that way.
Wait, did you say who it was?
Yeah, Prince. I said Prince, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The English, how can I describe them? Hard electronic band, The Prodigy. They were massive in the 90s, and they played Red Square to the adoration of thousands of freshly post-Soviets. I'm not sure, is this on my list or yours?
It's yours. But
Okay.
I don't object.
Yeah, this is Queen. Radiohead, don't really need much more of an introduction for them either, I think. We recently covered them.
Watch episode 3 of this season if you have any questions.
194 views and counting.
Yeah.
Humble brag.
Wait, episode 4, sorry. Season 4, episode 4 of Texting. Yeah, Craig, this is yours.
This is an interesting picture here. It's I've never seen this one before, but it's a picture of the Rolling Stones, and I'm guessing this is the original lineup with Brian Jones in there as well. I can recognize Charlie Watts, and it's hard to tell who's who actually in this one. They all look a bit messed up. But yeah, Rolling Stones
AI
is still
generated?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Hania?
Yeah, what did you say about Outkast, the most influential? So this is the Roots, and maybe I would say the most influential hip-hop band, because live artist, like playing live instruments, but that's not that common, so...
Yeah.
But
No, but it's a good distinction to make between, like, hip-hop group and hip-hop band, right? So this is the hip-hop band.
Yeah.
Also the house band for the Jimmy Fallon show, right?
It's true. Mm-hmm.
We won't hold that against them.
They're making that money, you know?
Everyone, musicians got to eat too, right?
Okay, this is the art rock band, Roxy Music. I know Craig is also a fan. This is with Brian Eno, who later left. Hard to say. Maybe my favorite work of theirs was done after he left, but he made his contributions as well. Great band. I mean, great catalog. All albums are pretty solid. Manifesto's not great, but it's respectable.
I'm assuming we would both have him on our list, but
yes,
I can't remember who put it on.
You did, but I don't object at all.
So we've got the soul pop extraordinaire, Obama favorite, Stevie Wonder.
We won't hold that against him. Here's another jazz icon. This is Sun Ra. Space is the place, says he. And he's kind of a forerunner of Hendrix in that sense. He really brought the cosmic consciousness into popular music.
Kind of a Parliament Funkadelic, possibly.
Well, before there was such a thing, I'm sure George Clinton was aware of him and probably influenced by him. But
definitely an artist I want to go deeper with. My favorite DJ, Giles Peterson, is always bigging up his work.
Yeah, Talking Heads featuring Scotland's own David Byrne. He was at least born there.
In fact.
Yeah.
Born in the Barton, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the third and I guess final strictly producer on our list. So along with Pharrell and Jay Dilla, we've got Timbaland, who also was pivotal in creating a lot of incredible hip-hop music in the 90s and 2000s.
Tom Waits, great American singer-songwriter. You could argue that, maybe Joni Mitchell or some other singer-songwriter should be on this list instead of him, but I thought it'd be interesting to include him because he's pretty unique. I mean, Elvis Costello is another one I considered, but I ended up going with Tom Waits. We'll see what happens.
This was another kind of selection I just had to put in. So similarly to you, I think there are other rappers I possibly might prefer stylistically, but as far as his iconic status, we've got Tupac Shakur.
Hit him up. Yeah. Speaking of Caledonia, Craig.
He's from Northern Ireland, Mark.
I know, but he identifies with his Scotch-Irish or Scottish heritage.
And also our favourite COVID denier and so on. Van Morrison, you should say.
Shots being fired both ways on the vax. I like that.
Right, yeah. Sorry, Van. Well, haven't even started yet.
Okay, this is Craig's favorite, the Velvet Underground. And again, we could, say the Velvet Underground / Lou Reed, just like the Stooges / Iggy, the Smiths / Morrissey. But we'll see how this shakes out.
All right, we've got 3 artists left.
Well, we've all been listening to them recently. I'm pleased to say I think I turned the youngsters on to The Who.
And our dad is a Who fan as well, I think.
Is
right?
he? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, this is mine. XTC. You could
Is that not
argue
ecstasy?
that they. Well, yeah, but it's usually pronounced XTC.
Okay.
But
XTC.
yeah. But yeah, great pop songwriters and musicians. I don't listen to them all the time, but when you're in the mood for them, it's there's nothing like it. They're unique. They're Beatlesque, master musicians and songwriters.
And the last artists of our 64 that will be competing today for the prestigious prize of Texting Champion.
ZZ Top. This is my choice because you gotta represent Texas.
Very good.
And Billy Gibbons is Hendrix said when asked who's the greatest guitar player, Hendrix said, well, there's a white boy down in Texas that's better than me, Billy Gibbons.
Very good. All right. Without further ado, we are going to draw the first 8 that we're going to be heatedly arguing about.
All right.
So let's see how this works on the tech end. Okay. All right. Am I just gonna go fast? Right?
Yeah.
We're already,
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
All right.
Oh.
So in the first slot we have the Velvet Underground.
Oh, there we go.
And yeah, you guys have to react while I'm doing this shit. All right. My focus is gonna be on the draw, and you guys can talk about like, how it's gonna go.
VU.
Mhm.
Lou
All right.
Reed. Head
Going
to
up
head
against-
with.
Animal Collective.
Brutal.
All right. It's
Okay.
gonna be a big one.
Keep going.
So a big artist is gonna go out first round there. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. All right. Oh shit. Oh no, it's okay. Okay. All right. Next we have Janet Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Versus. Oh, this is sad for me because they're both my heart. Daft Punk. It's
Okay.
sad that one of them have to go so early on. All right.
Get used to it. That's gonna
I'm
happen
gonna have
a lot.
to get used to it. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got Tupac Shakur.
Okay.
So kind of a Tom biased bracket
Yeah,
so far.
did you shake up the box, Tom?
Tupac going up against Miles Davis.
Okay. Ooh, that's interesting.
All right.
All right.
Then we've got Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Who are they going to come up against, folks? Drum roll.
Drum roll.
This is scary. Type
Oh,
roll.
I should turn on
Against-
my media board, right? Let's have
Against
some drum
Timbaland.
rolls.
Oh no.
Okay.
Ouch.
Oh well,
All right.
that's okay.
So
Right.
we'll try this out. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna attempt to use a timer if we're all okay with that. All right.
I mean,
so,
you can try.
I mean, if we can do it in less than 2 minutes, that's fine. But I think otherwise it's gonna be. I think it'll be kind of fun to keep it punchy. So
Yeah.
what I'm gonna suggest again is that the person who nominated this artist gets to make a quick opening statement, and then anyone can jump in from that point. And we're gonna try to spend no more than 2 minutes per matchup. So
Okay,
again, the
I'm
first
ready.
matchup is Velvet Underground versus Animal Collective. Mark will be introducing his argument for Velvet Underground, and I will be arguing for Animal Collective. Let's go,
Okay.
bitches!
Okay, well, I'll just say, as has often been pointed out, the first Velvet Underground album didn't sell that well, but everyone who bought that album started a band. So in terms of influence, I mean, you've got to go with VU, but also you've got Andy Warhol's involvement. You've got the songwriting of Lou Reed. You've got Nico singing with them on the first album, at least. And you've got maybe the first American rock band to have a prominent female member. That's Maureen Tucker on the drums.
All right, and as far as Animal Collective, that's obviously my preference of the two. I do like Velvet Underground, so not knocking them. I really like them. But Animal Collective are possibly my favorite band alongside Radiohead. their albums just take me to places that no other albums, again, except Radiohead have on this like psychedelic front. So just crazy melodies. I mean, the level of imagination that goes into their music just blows my mind. Albums like Merryweather Post Pavilion, Strawberry Jam, Feels, even Centipede HZ, they are just super important and talented. So I'm going to focus more on just how genius their albums are. All right, Hania and Craig, that's already sucked up in a minute 40. So I feel like that's not really fair to give you guys 7 seconds. So
just say what you want to say. Say what you want to say.
We can do the 2-minute limit for you and for the opening statements. At least that keeps us like somewhat honest.
Let's just not worry so much about that. Say what you want to say. Everyone has their say.
So I'll actually pitch in on the side of Velvet Underground VU.
Oh,
for me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
that's right.
I was so influenced by like the glam rock vibe, and then seeing like Velvet Goldmine the film, and just the androgyny and sex of all of that. And yeah, I can't go against the big banana in my mind on the cover of one of those VU albums.
When I've lost Hania, then I know it's over. But Craig, you go ahead.
I mean, the numbers game. So.
I have to side with Mark and Hania. So I think, as Mark said, you listen to any number of musicians of a certain age and they'll talk about the influence of the Velvet Underground on them or on their sound. And I think Hania said it as well, the way they look, sex appeal to it as well. So Velvet Underground.
But you don't personally like them, right?
Not hugely, no.
Yeah. Okay, but they still get the nod.
Hurts. Okay.
Okay.
So, Hania, do you want to make an opening statement for either of our next artists? Or if not, I will. But it'd be cool if you want to jump on one. Either you can jump on. Do you want to do Janet?
Yeah, I would be into doing Janet.
All right. So, a reminder: our next pairing is Janet Jackson against Daft Punk. Go ahead, Hania.
Yeah. So I feel like Janet just absorbed so many different styles, like soul and pop. I think I said that before, but just coming up with the most exciting at the time, some of them like music videos, and along with the choreography that she embraced. And just she evolved a lot, like from early on to later, like the Velvet Rope, just much freer, and just like her look changed so much. I just think she's just a rad pop icon.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously she's somewhat in Michael's shadow in terms of like fame, but I would say underrated as an artist.
Or talent for that matter, Tomek.
Even talent, yeah, but I obviously put her in my list, so I ride for all of these artists very hard. And I know like many artists might feel, or many critics might feel somewhat snobbish about her, but I would argue for her merits. I mean, Rhythm Nation, classic, Velvet Rope. I saw her live. She gave an amazing performance, including giving one lucky fan a lap dance, which I was sad wasn't me.
I actually saw her live as well in Nashville.
Nice.
Probably about 8 years ago. 7 or 8 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah, late stage.
And then regarding Daft Punk, this is going to be a tough one for me just because Daft Punk have so many important singles in terms of electronic music, and they're really at the forefront. They've done a lot of collaborations, whether it's with Pharrell or with Future, starting out with tracks like Defunk, Around the World. Got tracks like One More Time, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, which we know Kanye used, Face to Face, Digital Love, Robot Rock, Technologic, Get Lucky, Lose Yourself to Dance, Instant Crush. A lot of like really great tracks. The Essentials being like One More Time, Around the World. Yeah, just really talented. I know that they've done a lot in like the world of animation as well, and they've got other projects which I don't really follow, but they're obviously like very creative groups. They're obviously a very creative group. Okay, what do you guys?
I'm less familiar with their work, but you just named some tracks that reminded me of their contribution. So it's it's interesting to note that, but I think I'm still going to have to go with Janet just because I'm more familiar with her, and she had the wardrobe malfunction, and she also appeared on Different Strokes when I was growing up, so I vote Janet.
What about you, Craig?
Well, I have to disagree with Mark. I'm definitely more in the Daft Punk. Daft Punk camp. It's hard to say that. I'm probably going to use this word quite a few times in this podcast, and the word is legacy. And I think if you look back in 20 years from now, musically, are we going to remember Janet Jackson other than you being a teenager at that time, or me, or whoever it was, right? That kind of legacy. But musical legacy, I think Daft Punk have got more gravitas than Janet Jackson.
That's
it's like
very
another kind
interesting.
of pop star who's just a bit of a busted flush.
Harsh, Craig.
Makes sense, though. I still vote Janet, but I'm not going to be upset if she loses. So what are we at 2-2? Are we flipping?
I don't know. I haven't said what I'm. Hang on, you're going Janet?
I'm going Janet.
I'm going Janet.
Tomek, you just named all the Daft Punk songs off the top of your head.
Yeah,
man. You can't
come
go
on.
against
No,
it now.
I wish that was off the top of my head. I may or
Alright.
may not have ChatGPT open as well while we do this pod.
All right.
I wish. I'm not Mark with the encyclopedic memory, so I have to lean
Go
into
for it,
some
man.
technological crutches. It's a tricky one for me.
Let's do the coin toss.
I'm gonna go
Come on.
Daft Punk, and
Yeah.
we'll do the coin toss.
2-2. Flip
Okay,
that
so
euro.
we'll say the 2. Can we see that in my camera? So there, this side's the 2, and the 2 is Janet,
Okay,
and it's Daft.
okay, there it is. Daft Punk
Top
go
takes.
through with so that'll be a tasty matchup. Daft Punk against the Velvet Underground coming up soon. All right. Our third matchup is Tupac against Miles Davis. So I guess I'll do a quick intro to Pac and my arguments for him. Although I have massive respect for Miles Davis. So we don't have to do massive arguments if we think we're ready to go a direction. In fact, I'm ready to go Miles Davis on this one. So
Me
should we
too.
just
Me too.
I'll be the lone Tupac
okay.
vote.
Well, either way, Miles Davis it is. Let's save time. Led Zeppelin versus Timbaland in our final matchup. Yeah, I will be making an argument for Timbaland. Let's see if it's even in a matchup, though. Hania, are you going to go? Which way do you want to go? I guess
Going
we only
into
need to
this-
really argue if it's too. Go on.
Yeah, just shamefully, I haven't really listened to Led Zeppelin until this week, but I've really been vibing out to them. So it's I'm split right now. I'll need some convincing,
All
actually.
right, we'll throw in some arguments then. Mark, do you want to start with your persuasive devices?
Well, I mean, Led Zeppelin, they're not only in my top 32, but possibly in my top 5, like
Knock
they're
them
just
out. All the more reason to knock them out.
they're just they're part of my musical DNA, starting with Led Zeppelin 3. I mean, Led Zeppelin 2 is great also, but I think they really found themselves. They weren't just like recycling American blues artists as they did for the most part on Led Zeppelin 1, but let's say starting with Led Zeppelin 3, they created something completely new. You have 4 great musicians. You've got Jimmy Page, the virtuoso guitarist. You've got John Paul Jones on bass and keyboards and producing, who, John Paul Jones, who our friend from Korea, Fred, described as Mozart. You've got possibly one of the greatest rock drummers of all time, John Bonham. Not possibly, but definitely one of the greatest. His drum tracks are often sampled by hip hop artists. So if you want to talk about influence, there's that. And then you've got the amazing vocalist Robert Plant. So, from Led Zeppelin 3, 4, Houses of the Holy, the double album Physical Graffiti, on to Presence. I mean, it's just an indisputably great body of work. And personally, I even like In Through the Outdoors. So, Craig, I want to hear what you have to say.
I can't think of anything to say about Timbaland other than maybe you could do a hookup with Boots or something like that, or kind of whatever clothesline is. Timberland is a clothesline, isn't it? Right. So that's about as much as I've got with Timbaland. Nothing personal against him, but Led Zeppelin, on the other hand, is just like this iconic rock and roll band, heavy rock band, folk band. You name it, you could. It's really hard to categorize Led Zeppelin without sounding too stereotypical. But let me try and make it nice and short then. There's nothing better than putting on your CD or your record player or your track on your Spotify list or YouTube, and then it comes out really, really loud and it just kind of takes your face off. Led Zeppelin can do that, but at the same time, it can take you to tracks like Going to California or Kashmir, which are just kind of so different from their loud, quote-unquote stuff. You know, they're really a lot more strings to their bow.
All right.
We mentioned our friend Fred, and he pointed out how, you know, the name implies exactly what you said. There's the heaviness of the lead, and then there's the lightness of the Zeppelin, right? So it's really dark and light, heavy and finessed, everything.
Okay, I want to jump in, and first of all, Hania, I want to tell you that the hip hop needs a little bit more respect. You know, like Craig's firing shots saying like Timbaland, you know, is just a shoe company. Like the fact that they don't know these artists, you know, hip hop deserves respect. This guy,
That's true.
is like the musician behind the music that we grew up on. I'm going to list off some singles for you now, just in case you forgot. We've got tracks for Aaliyah, If Your Girl Only Knew, One in a Million, Try Again. We've got Missy Elliott, The Rain, Get Your Freak On, Work It, Justin Timberlake, Cry Me a River, Sexy Back. I mean, these are like the singles for these artists. What Goes Around Comes Around for Nelly Furtado, Promiscuous, Big Pimpin' for Jay-Z, Dirt Off Your Shoulder for Jay-Z, Pony for Genuine, Are You That Somebody for Aaliyah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just insane. And his sound is so distinctive. Like, you know when a Timbaland beat comes on.
Is it more distinctive than the best rock and roll band ever, arguably?
All I know is I had a Led Zeppelin album that I got from a colleague, and I sold it. So that's all I'm saying about Led Zeppelin. I don't really fuck with Led Zeppelin. I understand that people like ride hard for them. I'm not like, you know, I don't think they're bad or something, but it's not my preference, my preferable sound. Right? It's not my cup of tea. And, you know, if you like Timbaland, if you like the tracks, then I need you to vote with me here. And at least take
if we
it
put
to
it in another context
coin
then,
toss.
how many people are going to queue up for tickets to go and see Timbaland, and how many people are going to queue up and see Led Zeppelin?
In what culture,
there's
man?
only
It's
three
like
of them,
there's
right?
more than like, you know, if you go
popularity, right? It's still they're still popular.
If we talk about what song now is going to go on in the club, in any club in the world, and get people dancing, it's going to be Get Your Freak On. You know, like this is like the biggest single of the last 10, 15 years. Cry Me a River by Justin Timberlake is just like an insane track. Big Pimpin' by Jay-Z, everybody in like hip hop loves that track. Like for me, these are just like legendary songs that, I don't know.
Yeah, he kind of made Missy Elliott like
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm gonna go with Tom on this one. I've enjoyed Led Zeppelin the past week, but those Timbaland hits, like those were for years.
His sound is just so distinctive.
This is going to be a major upset if the.
All right, let's get heads or tails
to
here.
you.
Right?
This is like this is
Okay.
the big dog of hip hop production.
Well, so they say.
This is
Here
like
we go.
this is like Duke going out in the first
No,
round.
put some. Yeah, well, that's true. Actually, I feel you.
All right, so I'm going to go with numbers as tails then, okay? Tom, do you want to call?
Let's go Timbaland Tails.
Wait a minute. And heads it is.
Oh, you fucking
Straight up.
disrespect.
There is justice.
Level-headed coin.
There is
All right.
justice.
So we've got our semifinals. We said we were going to do the whole 8 before we move on to the next
All
8.
right.
So next up, we've got Velvet Underground and Daft Punk. Maybe we can spend a little bit less time talking about the individual artists, unless
VU.
we need to.
Let's just vote. VU. We already talked about them, so let's vote. VU.
Or
I'm going
DP.
Daft Punk.
You're going Daft Punk. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, okay. Hang
Well,
out.
you
what are
mentioned
gonna
about
do?
going into a club and making people dance, so therefore
That's true.
I think
I'm going to
you're
go
on the
Daft
money.
Punk.
Velvet Underground on my side.
Am
Sorry,
I going
Tom.
back to this coin?
Back to the flip. Back to the flip.
Mark, you want to call it?
Let's say Velvet Underground is the number.
And it's the heads.
Oh,
So
all right.
Daft Punk it is.
Okay, and Miles Davis versus Led Zeppelin.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm going Miles Davis. I own a couple Miles Davis albums. They go hard.
I'm gonna have to go Led Zeppelin. I have no familiarity with Miles Davis.
Disrespect.
Yeah,
The disrespect.
I know.
Okay,
I know.
Yeah, I just in
Clip
terms of personal influence, I'll go Led Zeppelin. But if Miles advances, it's totally fine with me. But Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin for me.
All right,
there we go.
So I'm guessing this is gonna be a tough one for Daft Punk to overcome Led Zeppelin.
You better
Craig and
believe
Mark
it.
are gonna go Zeppelin. Hania, where are you gonna go? Because I'm gonna go Daft Punk.
I'm fair weather. I think I'm gonna go with Led Zeppelin. I've just
Do you
been
want me to read
listening
you-
to them lately.
You don't want me to
and
read you
I
the Daft Punk singles again? Like do you?
I think I got it the first time. So
Okay, but I'm saying, like, how many of those tracks do you like absolutely love? Like, why? I'm just asking you why. Why would you like not
I don't know. I just
not back Daft Punk?
my
here?
current era is like more
Okay,
this way.
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin win the first bracket. We ready to move on?
Yeah,
Yep.
All right,
keep it
Let's go.
going.
fatigue
Time
check.
to go back to the
It's early
drawing
days,
box.
All right,
Right. It's
Exactly.
We got
high-tech.
we got 8 of these. That's only
exactly.
one. It's
All right,
already
we
in
have
the
Are we
Matt.
still going to be talking at
Pole
the end of
position.
this with one another? We're
We're
still
an
going to be on
hour
good
in.
talking terms with one another.
The audience is gonna like it more
Yeah.
the more vicious we are with one another. So let's savage
All
each
right.
other. We got a
Trash talk.
interesting lineup here: Fleetwood Mac against Prince.
Oh.
It's a tough one.
Yes.
That's hardcore. I don't even want to think about where that's going to go. Next up, we got Van Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm a big Van Morrison fan, despite it being
Yeah.
on Mark's list. And Talking Heads.
He was on yours originally. Oh, this is interesting.
That's a tough one.
All right. In the 5th position, we've got the White Savior. Eminem. That's an interesting one. I ride pretty hard for Eminem, but only his early work. Versus the Police. I'd say that's a fairly soft draw for Eminem. I think he's going to be able to come through there, but we'll see. Just making predictions.
I your optimism here, Tom, so I'll say that much.
ZZ Top, what I would consider the cringiest of all 64, now that I'm letting out my true opinions.
Wait a minute.
I'm not offended.
I got the tequila moving here through my body, and Joy Division. So yeah, I think Joy Division. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
All right.
Okay.
Lineup 1, Fleetwood Mac versus Prince.
All right. Well, I mean, 2 iconic, great, hugely influential. This is almost a toss-up for me, but in terms of I got to go Prince just because.
For real, I'm going to go Fleetwood Mac.
Prince is
Okay.
I mean, songwriter, guitarist. He can play every instrument. He's a great producer. He's an amazing performer. Just in terms of that, I mean, I won't be offended if Fleetwood Mac wins whatever period we're talking about. Peter Green, the Stevie Lindsay period, whatever they're doing now. I won't be upset, but I'm going Prince.
All right, I'm going Fleetwood Mac because this has been a late entry into my listening world just the last few years, but I mean,
Thanks to me, I turned you on to them with the Christine McVie
the
episode,
number of
right?
Absolutely, yeah, no props. The number of delicious singles, they come up a lot on my playlist, and I just can't believe how many incredible songs they have. It's
No
just
question, man.
and
This
just
is a
they're
tough one.
so that is just candy for the ears. I mean, their songs.
I have a bit of a controversial thing to say, though. I think Tango in the Night's a bit overrated, as is Rumours. They have a couple of good songs on them.
Ooh, I love
obviously,
Rumours.
but they're a bit. I don't know. I'm a kind of, as I've got a bit older, I'm a bit I can skip.
Where are you guys going, Craig and Hania?
I'm gonna go with Prince.
Me
Yeah,
too.
it's just the artist.
Oh, Craig, you're gonna go Prince, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
interesting.
let Hanya go first. Sorry.
Oh, just the sonic richness of his songs, and it seems like he plays with a lot of different genres as well. Just super interesting and sexy, and just
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get any better than Prince.
I have
Interesting.
to say, I'm a big Fleetwood Mac, like Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, and that
Yeah.
kind of blues era of it. And I really like. I've forgotten his name now. Lindsey Buckingham, I think, is a kind of
Yeah.
real musical mastermind in the band. Not to take it in and away from Christine McVie for that matter, but I think they're one of those bands that get a lot of credit for not very much, if I'm being honest. Maybe they could have been more prolific. Maybe that's a better way to say it, right? But I think they did some really good songs. They can all play, perform really well. Lindsey Buckingham's fantastic. I mean, he is a bit difficult to work with if rumors, pardon the pun, if it's believed to be the case, he's quite difficult to work with, and Stevie Nicks hates him and all that stuff, so they won't play together anymore. But Prince, on the other hand, is just, I think everyone else has said, covered all the bases there. I think it's hard to argue with a kind of musical prodigy.
Okay.
I would just point out that there's actually a couple of periods between Peter Green and the Lindsey Stevie period. There's a guy named Danny Kirwan, and then a guy after that. I never can remember his name.
He came from Peter Green, I think, Danny Kirwan.
They were probably in the band together at the same time.
Not like he took a trip as well and kind of spaced out.
That was Peter Green, yeah.
That was Peter Green, yeah.
But Danny Kirwan, or however his name is pronounced, he kind of became a de facto leader after that. And then there was another guy, the one that wrote the song "Hypnotize," which I only recently learned was a Fleetwood Mac song. I mean, as Tomek says, they're just,
can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. Sorry.
There are just so many great songs from their whole catalog going back to the 60s. So this is a tough choice, but the arguments that were made for Prince is what tips the scales for me. I mean, he's just the complete package, total genius. Even if, there's some albums you like better than others, it's just he was always moving, always. He's like Miles Davis. He's like, the Beatles, just Led Zeppelin to a certain extent, just all maybe Radiohead even, always exploring, always going new places, always discovering new things, and just an amazing performer as well.
All right, we're on to Van Morrison against Talking Heads. I'm fully behind Van Morrison on this one. Moondance, and what's the album that came after Moondance?
Astral Weeks.
Astral Weeks. Those two albums are like close to sonic perfection for me. So,
and don't forget Veed and Fleece immediately after Astral Weeks. That's my favorite. Again, man, another very tough here in the. This is still the first
and
round.
I should say I'm just ignorant of Talking Heads, so that's why I'm not. I don't think that Van Morrison is necessarily superior, but I'm going to choose him just because I know his work.
Fair enough. Well, just to play devil's advocate, let me make the case for Talking Heads. The entire catalog from Talking Heads 77 to the last album, Little Creatures, that string of 7 or 8 albums, again, kind of like these other artists we mentioned, like every album is different. They're experimenting, they're redefining the genre to a certain extent. They've got a completely unique sound. They reintroduced funk into American rock and pop, I guess you could say, or white American rock and pop. David Byrne is a completely unique lyricist and frontman. They're like, if you want to consider their like art school, they're another art rock band too, kind of. They worked with Brian Eno, formerly of Roxy Music. Their sonic experimentation is, always interesting and unique. But again,
you haven't even mentioned Top Stop Making Sense yet.
Okay, yeah, take it where you want. Tell us about that.
I don't know if the others are familiar with it, but Jonathan Demme made it. He directed the film version of the concert, and the live album itself is a bit of a masterpiece. If you've never seen it, David Byrne's wearing this. How would you describe it, Matt? It's like an oversized suit.
Yeah, the big suit. Yeah.
the big suit, right?
Yeah.
And he's performing on stage. But does he not come on with like a big boombox as well? I haven't seen it for some time. I'm a bit
Yeah, and
hazy with the memories of it.
got lamps and
It's a great performance.
They're all in white.
Yeah,
and they've got a great
Take Me to the Rivers on it. Psycho Killer, of course.
Love that
Where
song.
would we be without Psycho Killer?
People, can I keep us going? Because we wanted to. Yeah, can I be a dickhead and say let's keep moving here?
Well, let's
It's just we're so early on.
Yeah, but this is an interesting discussion. I mean, like I'm not going to be upset whoever wins, but Craig and I just gave a few, arguments in favor of Talking Heads, so it's up to Hania.
Maybe Tom wants to take this one. I recall Van Morrison albums, but not like I would talk at length. Tom?
No, I just want us to be punchier. As the host, that's my aim right now. So I'm gonna go Van Morrison. What are you guys gonna do?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Talking Heads.
Van Morrison.
All right, it's 2-2.
Okay. Another coin flip.
Hania, would you like to call?
Let's go Van Morrison for the Eagle.
And it's Heads, so Talking Heads.
So Heads.
My mistake, sorry. That one was Heads. Excuse me. You're right. So, Van Morrison.
Van Morrison goes through. All right. Van Morrison against Prince. It's going to be a tough one anyway for him. All right. Eminem versus the Police. I'm going to go Eminem because of the peaks that he reached in hip-hop. So I'd say he has like 3 classic albums. I'm not a fan of his last 15 years. But just what he managed to put out initially is like miracle level hip-hop. I do like the Police a lot, by the way. Okay, you guys.
What would you say sets him apart then, Tom? Those 3 albums, what is it that kind of differentiates between?
I would say his lyricism and
was it just because it was new at the time, or he was new at the time? It's a different.
I would say his flow
voice.
is like very, very like crisp and melodic, and he could do like a lot of like really staccato-y stuff that some rappers can do it, but he was doing it like the level of rapping, and also the fact that he was covering subject matter maybe that was a bit different. So of course it did have a broader appeal to like white America, so I'm not denying that. Very good production from Dr. Dre, a lot of it, and just like captivating songs that meant a lot to people.
He even has a song called White America.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with the Police for reasons I mentioned in the introduction. They kind of brought back the power trio that was, I guess, originally popularized by Cream and the Jimi Hendrix experience, but with an 80s twist, kind of more pop oriented. Again, you've got Sting songwriting. Sting's also a good bass player and obviously vocalist.
Do you have any
Stuart Copeland
room for Eminem?
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike Eminem, but just personally, like, the Police have been more influential to me. Stuart Copeland is a unique drummer. Like, he kind of incorporated elements of reggae, but he also used a lot of metal, He's like the anti-Phil Collins, I guess.
No bad thing.
Yeah. And, I mean, in some ways, Andy Summers is the weak link because, some of the echoey, delay effects are cloying at times. However, he can also rip. I mean, if you listen to his solo on Message in a Bottle, for instance, or I don't know, Bring on the Night, maybe. That's one a lot of people like.
A great singles band, I think, the Police.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So many
if you're
legendary
good, if you're
singles.
good through like a best of collection, and you're like,
100%.
I'll put this on, right? It's a bit like
100%.
Fleetwood Mac for me.
There you go. So I go with the Police.
Let's see where Hania and Craig stands on this one.
I'll take the Police.
Okay.
I'll
Hania?
take Eminem.
Okay. So coin toss it is.
Okay. Tom, would you like to?
All right, yeah. So we'll do Eminem for the number.
Heads it is, so the police.
Oh, Eminem. Okay. I'm pro Joy Division.
As am I.
Okay.
Me too. But I
right.
just want to point out that ZZ Top is a great blues-based rock band. Another power trio from Texas.
Early stuff is phenomenal. Early stuff is so good.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Like, Tres
Get your
Hombres.
booty on with some of that stuff, man. You know, it's
Tejas, Eliminator, of course. El Loco. Great albums. Also kind of a singles band, but I like the albums as well. I like the deep cuts as well. But
there's a lot of them as well, which a lot of people might be surprised at. Well, they've been around forever, right? So,
yes,
since late 60s or early 70s, I think.
And I saw them live at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and it was one of the best shows I've ever seen, and it was fucking loud. So that just to give them their props.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, we're gonna go to Prince Van Morrison. Are we all in agreement that Prince goes through?
Yep.
Any pushback? Okay. Hang on, I know you're gonna go Prince there, right? All right. Police versus Joy Division. This is maybe a bit closer. Craig, where are you gonna go on that one? No, or anybody who's got their mind made up on the two, because I have to think for a second.
I mean, Joy Division is, to use a bit of a cliched music journalism word, it's a seminal band, right? And
yeah,
I think for that matter alone, and some of the performances that are still around, like if you check out the live version of Transmission and stuff like that, I mean, these are great, really iconic performances at the time.
Isn't their discography fairly thin? Or am I...
Two albums?
Two albums, exactly. So, I mean, they're both great, but that would be like one thing that would kind of go
Unknown
against
Pleasures
them.
And...
Closer, is it, or something?
Closer, maybe. It's the name of the film as well, right? The film's great.
Very good.
I'm going Joy Division, actually.
Okay. Hania, do you know where you're going to go on this one?
Yeah, I'll probably go Joy Division.
We have lost Mark, by the way.
I know, he's just disappeared.
But
well, let's
we don't want to consider... I'm just curious, we don't want to consider... It was New Order, right, that came from Joy Division?
Yes.
So we don't want to consider them together? No? It's...
Hi, I'm back.
Hey, Mark. So we've got Craig is committed to Joy Division.
Absolutely.
You are as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Because I'm willing. I don't know about this one. I want to know if Hania, where are you going to go?
Oh, wait. What happened? What? No. Hold on. So I missed something. Prince versus Van Morrison. Prince. Okay, that's fine.
Yes. So we're on the next one. We're just discussing Police versus Joy Division.
Yeah.
Joy Division.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, and Hania, and you?
I'm Joy Division.
So then I won't even argue, but I will say that the Police are fucking awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, but Stuart Copeland's dad was a founder of the CIA, so that's big minus for them.
All right,
I think his brother's a dickhead as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Miles Copeland. Yeah.
And Sting is a bit of a weirdo as well, to be fair. So
and he plays the lute, so yeah, fuck the police. Right? Literally.
All right. So coming out of our second out of 8 brackets, we've got a final set between Prince and Joy Division.
Prince and Joy Division. Very interesting.
I think we have to go Prince. For longevity.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So let's finish this off.
That's a 4-0 then, right?
So we've got Led Zeppelin coming out of the first bracket. By the way, we're going to shuffle the final 8, so this does not mean that Led Zeppelin goes up against Prince. Just FYI, okay?
Yeah.
It'll be randomized again. So, but we do have Led Zeppelin, Prince. I think that's two pretty strong choices. Let's go into the third bracket. First up, we've got The Prodigy. Come on, baby. Come on, Prodigy.
Who?
Riding hard. Fuck off. No, the Who are not next. Oh,
Be
no.
dead.
Radiohead. That's sad. So that means bye-bye, Prodigy. As quickly as I said hello. All right. Then we have got James Brown, Godfather of Funk, right? Or Godfather of Soul, or both.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
Which usually is associated with
Soul.
Okay. Soul, okay. All right. James Brown against Killing Joke.
Ooh, interesting.
I know nothing about Killing Joke, so that is enough. That's my opinion already stated. All right. Oh shit! The king of pop has entered the building, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy right now. Michael Jackson. This is sad for me because this means that Michael and Radiohead can't go through. Against the Polish rapper Fish. Sorry, Fish. At least we shouted you out. You did get on the show, which is a pretty big accomplishment for a poll.
I think we're preempting things a bit here, are we not?
I know, sorry. But, all right, and then we've got the
You're
Roots.
supposed to be impartial here. Come on.
Jesus.
Get shit together.
Fuck. I'm pissed off. I'm really pissed off about this right now. I'm not enjoying this.
Less drama. Come on.
Against David Bowie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
All right.
All right, let's
Battle
again,
of the
people. I'm
Titans.
going to encourage speed and argumentation only when necessary.
Okay.
All right.
Radiohead.
If we've Radiohead, is anyone hanging out? Are you going to go Prodigy or is it Radiohead for you as well?
Radiohead.
Okay,
Radiohead.
All right.
First 3 albums, Radiohead.
Okay.
Everything after that.
Not Amnesiac.
Fell asleep.
I'm clipping that up. Clip it.
They're too busy. After the third album. What was the third album? No, was it Radio Kate? No,
OK
Computer.
Computer.
What was it?
OK
OK Computer. After that,
Kid
Amazing.
A, which is fucking
Kid A,
amazing.
right?
Kid A.
That's when they started smelling their own farts too much.
Oh, I thought
right?
they
That's
started
when I
getting
was
better and
kind of-
better.
Exactly, I
Oh.
agree.
I was kind of
That was their
the other
prime.
way.
All right.
Oh, well.
James
I like
Brown versus
Amnesiac.
Killing Joke.
Uh,
I don't know Killing Joke, so I have nothing to say about them. I like James Brown, but I don't have that much to say about him. So that's me done.
I love Killing Joke, but I mean, going up against James Brown, it's just I've got to go James Brown.
I think for putting music on the map of a certain genre at a certain time, a period of history, then for that alone, James Brown is for me.
James Brown it is.
Agreed.
Interesting to see Radiohead against James Brown's bizarre.
Killing Joke
All right.
are great though.
Yes,
Can I write Michael
to say that.
Jackson?
yes.
Yep.
Thank
Yes.
you. This is going to be a tough one because I know Hanga and I are huge
Not for
fans
me.
of the Roots.
Not for me.
Right, so Hanga, are you going? Oh wait, Hanga's a big Bowie fan though too, so this could be tricky. Hanga, it's all on you right now, whether this goes to the coin toss or not.
Wait, how do you know?
Well, I just mean because it's up to her whether it goes to the coin toss. Like, because she's
Well, how do you know how?
way.
How do you know how Craig and I are voting?
You guys are going. You guys already said it, didn't you?
No, I just said it's easy for me.
We're just teasing you along, man.
All right, no, I'm not even entertaining that. Hanga, let's
We're
hear
playing
from
to
you.
the crowd.
I mean, I can't be. The Roots are one of my favorite artists, so I'm going with the Roots.
Yeah.
I do love Bowie though.
Now see
All right, coin toss.
that's so look, you've got it's basically 2.5 versus 1.5, you know? Is
How?
it really 2-2? Because she's like 50-50 almost.
Oh no, you don't get a half.
All
I
right,
like
okay, flip it, fuck it, flip it.
Mark, your call.
All right, well, Bowie will be Eagles.
And numbers it is.
All right, so the
Wow.
Roots go through.
Wow.
Sorry,
That's
Bowie.
probably the least David Bowie will ever be talked on a podcast, right? It's like, I
We've
don't
already
even-
done a
we haven't even
podcast on
started.
Bowie.
Wow,
He's
there
got
are
his
many,
time.
many.
The Roots. You guys should listen to the Roots. That's all. Like, they're a really good band, and they have a lot.
I
of
have.
albums. All right.
I'm not.
Okay, cool.
I'm not disrespecting them at all.
Radiohead against James Brown. For me, this is easy. But I know it might not be for some of you. So let's. Who's wavering?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Okay, you guys go. I'm Radiohead. I'm Radiohead.
James Brown.
James Brown.
I'm wavering.
Oh shit, Hanga. Have you ever listened to like a Radiohead album all the way through? I assume you have. You've loved them. You have not done that for James Brown. No, I'm just saying.
That doesn't mean one's better than the other. It's like, you know.
Well, but
think
again,
of all the shitty music you had to
Only
listen to in your
criteria.
parents' car.
But we're not voting for. I mean, my understanding is we're voting for the artists we like the best. So in that sense, I mean, because I'm just saying I could also, if I was trying to be like a music journalist, I might understand the argument for James Brown, no doubt. Like I respect his place in the canon, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have more attachment to Radiohead, so I'm gonna go with Radiohead on this one.
I'm gonna send
cool.
you. I'm gonna send you some videos of live performances. James Brown and his band from the 60s and even later, even into the 70s and 80s, when he's like almost 60 years old. There's a performance of him on Letterman. It is unbelievable.
I believe it.
I believe
it.
No, but it's unbelievable, Hanga. So you can't believe it.
And you should, everyone should check out the documentary called Mr. Dynamite.
Okay. And I would like, I mean, he had a huge influence on my favorite artist, Michael Jackson, so no doubt. And like Sex Machine, for me, like growing up dancing, that was like one of the best songs we put on to like pop lock to.
Mm-hmm. So are we going...
going coin flip. Hania, you go with the coin flip.
Numbers for Radiohead.
Seems appropriate.
Numbers it is.
Does seem appropriate.
All right. But either way, I'm getting fucked in this bracket. Because I'm losing a major artist in my life.
Come on, get on with it, Tom.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I'm Save the trauma for someone that cares here. I'm like, come on,
Craig,
man.
I just need you to understand. Like, I'm going with my favorite musician here, singer, and my favorite band.
You'll be all right.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, you got fucking right. Led Zeppelin. You're talking shit. All right. So I'm going Michael Jackson here. Is this a discussion?
The Roots.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, man. Questlove, and I don't know the names of those other guys, but they're...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know those other guys?
What?
I don't know that guy who plays the bass.
Do you know all of Michael Jackson's band members' names?
He's a solo artist, bro.
No, yeah, and he worked with Quincy.
Michael Jackson.
He worked with Quincy Jones, and who was his guitarist on, for example, Dirty Diana? Do you know?
No, I do not. But
well, I do. So
okay, good for you.
Yeah, so good for you if you know the Roots basis. I'm saying they're a great band.
Okay.
And Questlove is the leader. So what? Am I wrong?
No, I'm just
the Roots.
I'm wondering how much you know about the Roots.
The Roots.
He's on your side here, is he not?
No, I'm anyway. Michael Jackson, hardcore. This is my favorite
Roots.
singer. Yeah,
the Roots.
I have to go Michael Jackson. Not particularly for any King of Pop monikers or anything like that, but if you're going by, I actually listened to what was it come up in YouTube? History, right? That was the
I love that album. Yeah.
There's actually some really crappy songs on that. I was like,
some
phenomenal songs. Some phenomenal songs on it. I mean, let me finish. Some phenomenal songs on it, but some kind of fillers as well. I was like towards the end, it got a bit kind of garbage. I was like, oh.
Are you talking about disc 1 or disc 2 on History?
Oh, I can't remember, man. The later stuff, the stuff near the end.
Yeah.
Right? The Earth song and all this other shit. You're just like, what's that? Right? It's just
we did a podcast about that. I mean, I do really like that album, but I agree that there's filler on it.
He did some absolutely phenomenal stuff, as Mark was saying, with Quincy Jones and stuff like that. And I think at that period in time, there was no one like him, much like James Brown in a way, right? It was kind of to his credit as an artist.
Yeah.
And a musician and everything, but... so for me, Michael Jackson, but he's not the king of pop. I would disagree with that, but he's better than the Roots, in my opinion.
Hania?
Michael.
Okay, I won't be upset.
All right, this is a tricky one. Michael Jackson against the Roots. My favorite artist against my favorite band.
Michael Jackson versus Radiohead.
Yes.
You said the Roots.
This is...
we already did that.
Michael Jackson versus Radiohead, my favorite singer versus my favorite... Yeah, this is a tough one for me.
I'm with Michael Jackson.
I'm going to go Michael Jackson.
I'm going Radiohead.
I feel like it's hard when you're comparing like the solo artist against the band, because often if it's the solo artist, like you were saying about Prince, like they're a genius, just everything in one person, and it's hard to compare.
But Michael Jackson is no Prince or Stevie Wonder.
He's superior.
No, I vote Radiohead.
I'll tell you what's the difference for me. What is it makes a difference for me? And if I was watching a concert of either or one or the other rather, Radiohead put a lot of live gigs during the COVID lockdowns and so on. I don't know. They used to release them every Friday or something like that. There was loads of them. Fuck me, I was so bored. It was just like, Jesus, I don't know what it... And I think that was the beginning and the end for me for Radiohead. It sounded good. There was loads of people there. I mean, everything was there to make it great, and I was just left bored. I was just like, okay, musically for me, I'm done. Michael Jackson, on the other hand, knew how to put on a show. And it was, for me, musically, entertainment-wise, as a crowd experience, I would probably enjoy it more, hypothetically speaking.
People fainting regularly at his shows from ecstasy and from the crowds.
Speaking in tongues, yeah.
It's up to you, Hania.
I think we've got, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Michael again, Michael Jackson.
Okay. I don't mind.
All right, so to review, we've got Led Zeppelin in our first bracket, Prince in our second bracket, and Michael Jackson in our third. Wow, this is I guess not really big surprises, but Bowie went out. That was that was tough.
That's outrageous. But okay.
It is.
All right, go ahead and pick. I'm going to take a quick restroom break.
Sure. Got the Doors.
Oh, he's back. Right. That was quick.
Okay. Versus P.
I think I'll join him and close a window.
Tom, I'll keep you company.
Okay, thank you, Craig. And you can react as much as you want, because I don't know these bands that well.
All right.
I don't know what you think about that initial lineup.
The Doors, the bass band that never had a bass player.
Okay.
Well,
what's your initial suspicion on where that lineup's going to go? Doors versus PIL.
Well, I know Mark's going to go Pill, I think.
Okay.
Just because of the kind of post-punk, bigger than the Sex Pistols kind of thing to it. But the Doors are arguably a better.
Next up, we've got the Eagles. To be honest, I'm not a fan of the Eagles. But again, I don't really know them, so I don't want to be a hater.
The Eagles of death metal, maybe? You know?
What do you
never heard of the Eagles of death metal?
Is that like another band?
Yeah,
okay.
It's another band, yeah. I think it was some guys that were in Queens
Mark
of the Stone Age,
this.
maybe, I think. So it's connected to those guys. The Eagles are just remind me of kind of, obviously being from the west coast of Scotland, that's about as closest to the west coast of California as I would ever get listening to the Eagles. So they had some nice tunes, but very samey, I would say.
Yes. Agreed. So Eagles against Jay-Z. That's quite an interesting lineup.
Coming back with a couple of beverages.
All right, there you go.
Got a nice Polish.
What you got?
Maybe it's actually it's Wolfas Engelmann, so sounds German. Not sure. APA and ginger beer.
All right, our last lineup.
CCR.
Australian.
We've got Ecstasy against CCR, so the battle of the acronyms. This is a very Mark-heavy bracket. So Mark, this is going to be. And oh shit, I just drew.
We'll let Mark sweat it out a bit now.
Yeah, exactly. I can take a rest. Thank God. And we got the Beatles coming in. That's a big one.
Oh no, so there's one more. Yeah,
Beatles against Beck.
Okay.
I think Beatles will be safe. There.
Someone has to do it, right? So.
All right. So the only hip hop artist here is Jay-Z. The rest we've got various iterations of rock music.
All right, let's go.
I'm gonna let you and Craig talk us through Doors versus PIL.
Okay, well, I mean, I've already talked a bit about PIL, the post-punk group founded by former Sex Pistols member John Lydon, a.k.a. Johnny Rotten. I like the way they thought of their band as a company and the way they flouted the norms of, the music industry and what was expected. But no, they just cannot compare to the Doors.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Craig predicted you would go with PIL.
Really?
I thought you would. Yeah.
No. The Doors. I mean, again, four fantastic musicians. Well, I don't know if Morrison's a musician, but one of the great frontmen.
An enigmatic personality.
Yes, and because of that, he's a great frontman. I love Ray Manzarek, the organist and producer, musician. I like the jazz drumming of John Densmore.
Mm-hmm.
I like Robbie Krieger as a guitarist and songwriter. Yeah, it's got to be the Doors. If you're looking for a particular album, check out Strange Days. Also love L.A. Woman, their last album before
Morrison Hotels.
Morrison Hotel is great.
I think the later stuff's really L.A. Woman's a classic.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going Doors just because they're the only group that I know, and I love Light My Fire.
I will say though that do you know who Jim Morrison's father was?
No.
He's the guy who was the captain of the ship that was part of the false flag in the Gulf of Tonkin. So there's a really interesting connection. I read this book. I've got it on my shelf here somewhere. Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon. It's about all these connections between these California-based artists, including the Doors, and military intelligence. A little bit disturbing, but
is that canyon like Laurel Canyon?
Yes.
Oh.
Exactly. So Morrison's dad was the skipper of the ship in the Gulf of Tonkin. Frank Zappa is the son of a military contractor. The Byrds were like a creation of record industry executives. That whole scene, in fact, was manufactured to a certain extent, much more so than we thought. No, it's worth mentioning. It's a caveat, even though I'm going with the Doors.
All right. Is there any resistance to the Doors from anyone?
Nope.
No.
All right. Let's go the Doors.
Bye, Pill.
Eagles versus Jay-Z.
Eagles.
I think Eagles is a cringe choice, and I'm going Jay-Z intensely on this one.
You got to give a reason. Well, let's hear the other votes.
Say, like, the Eagles is cringy. That's my reason.
I don't necessarily disagree.
No, I love Jay-Z, man. He's just got like a lot of legendary albums, and I
think Hotel California is one of the biggest selling albums of all time.
I hate that song. But anyway.
Never say that like that.
Sure.
I'm just saying
no, you're right. And on that,
other people do.
That album discussion, I remember, I know that as well because Thriller is always like oscillating between, between that
Dark Side of the Moon in between there as well, and
but those two albums,
usual
often,
suspects.
So I know people. They're like they're like yacht rock to me or something, or like I don't know. Jay-Z, yeah.
It's Christopher Cross you're getting mixed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Toto.
Blueprint.
And by the way, it's
pleasure.
Eagles, not the Eagles.
Okay, thank you.
Some people say.
Blueprint, Black Album, Reasonable Doubt. I even like Volume 2. But see, I know I'm like talking to, this is like hip hop heads that are more familiar. But a lot of, just huge personage in the hip hop worlds. Amazing Unplugged album with the Roots that like just hit really hard.
Strongly recommend.
So Hania, I'm guessing you're gonna go with Jigga.
Yeah, cosign on Jigga.
And Craig, if you go Eagles, we're gonna have to go coin toss. So
let's take the coin.
Damn it. Okay.
Eagles for Eagles.
All right, Eagles for Eagles.
Even though I just gave some arguments against the Eagles, I actually prefer them. So
I get it.
I can't really.
I can't. Sure.
Mark?
Eagles for Eagles.
In numbers it is. So
oh,
Jay-Z.
wow.
Jay-Z.
Come on. I'm the worst.
No, come on.
I'm the worst coin toss guesser
All right,
on the panel.
Versus CCR.
I'm going to go CCR.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. Considering
I can
CCI
say why.
Now, but...
I think John Fogerty's a much maligned in the music industry in certain ways. He's known for producing 3 albums or whatever it was CCR did before they broke up. But I remember reading an interview with him talking about how much pressure he was under after writing the first album or whatever hits came first. And I think he was something like 23 and his wife had just had their first kid. And he was under so much pressure to produce the next single, song, hit, whatever it was. And it was really enlightening to read of what that kind of experience is like, right? When you're up there in that limelight. And I think his brother was in the band as well. And his brother and him have never spoken since or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine what that situation would have been like. And I'm probably sure he was ripped off several times because he should be much, much, much wealthier than he probably is, right? Just because of the quality of the songwriting and that particular kind of genre, I would say. A lot of people think they're from the South, but they're actually from California, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's right. Fortunate Son, you just can't argue with that track.
Absolutely.
Every cover band learns it, right? If you're ever in any kind of government, everyone has to do it. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
All right, Beatles without... Hania's a big Beck fan. I love Beck, but we're not even having... Do we even have to have this conversation?
Beck Mutation's a great album, but no, we don't.
It.
Yeah.
Hania, do you want to put up Do you want to do your obituary for Beck?
Yeah, I suppose I will. I just feel like Beck's... I want to say boldly, because I've had Bob Dylan in my mind lately, but I want to say that Beck is like some lost love child of Bob Dylan and Weird Al Yankovic or something. And so creative. And like Midnight Vultures coming so much later with the
Love
soul and the
Midnight
funk.
Vultures.
Just I feel like
Loser, that's like one of the best tracks from my childhood.
yeah, Loser is great.
That's a good song.
His earlier stuff, One Foot in the Grave, he was just totally just a guitar and that was it. And then later, so much more.
And
then
Beck
his
really-
concerts
yeah.
also just like wild. Just think like Flaming Lips, stuff like that.
They got a tough.
So-
Beck got a tough draw here because
Mhm.
I feel like Beck could have come out of other brackets.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's what we're
Sorry,
saying.
Beck.
Someone has to get it. Right?
Mhm.
yeah.
We're getting
All right.
better. We're getting faster. All right. Doors
yes.
versus Jay-Z. Doors.
Jay-Z.
Those,
Jay-Z.
Oh,
All
my
right,
God.
2-2.
Tom.
No, this is the fucking like arrogance about hip hop music. If you guys were like hip hop heads, you would know that what you're saying is sacrilegious. I'm just saying. All right, Jay-Z. We're gonna go
Tumbleweeds.
Jay-Z numbers.
Jay-Z numbers. We could debate it a bit more if you like. I mean, go for it, man. You feel strongly about it.
No, I don't feel like. I just think that like people in the hip hop world love him. That's all. So like I don't. So all I'm saying is like I understand it's for humor, but like for Mark to like be like, oh God, like for me, Jay-Z. We're talking about like a megalith of the hip hop world here. Like
Right.
yeah. So I'm just saying he's a huge artist.
Yeah. There's a certain kind of element of bias in this in a lot of these choices, right?
Sure,
So
sure.
obviously, I didn't pick them with you guys. But what's Jay-Z best known for to me? He's a businessman. He's Beyonce's husband, I think. Right? And I'm kind of other than that, I know some of the stuff he's done, but it doesn't really resonate the same way with me as it does with you, obviously.
Well, there's
Sure.
an interesting connection here, right? Like, it was you who introduced me to The Blueprint, and the best song on that, in my opinion, is what? What's the ROC?
There's a
We
few.
running this rap shit. What's that called?
That's the battle against that's the battle track against Nas. It's the first track on the album, The Takeover.
The Takeover. Guess what he samples on
The
that
Doors.
song? Exactly. So,
So-
I mean, there would be no Jay-Z without the Doors. That's the
Wouldn't without the other,
argument I'm going to make.
I mean, okay. Yeah, 'cause
Therefore, I have to go with Mark.
Direct lineage. So let's flip the coin and see if Jay-Z's feeling lucky.
What would you like?
Jay-Z's numbers.
Numbers it is.
Oh, Jigga. You're surviving.
Outrageous. First Bowie, now the Doors.
Sorry, Mark.
All right.
Hey, I'm
can
just
we
it's okay.
Just the messenger here.
can we go through and do so we can say the Beatles here?
Well, I say, yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
All right. So Jay-Z versus the Beatles.
Beatles.
Should I cave? I'm gonna go Beatles too on this one.
Yeah. Attaboy.
Agreed, yeah.
Jay-Z's although I will say really quickly that Jay-Z had an amazing remix of the Blueprint, of the Black Album using all Beatles tracks. So it's worth
Yeah,
checking
listen
out.
to it. I do remember listening to this. It must be what,
Is
about
that the
10
Grey
years
album?
ago?
The
give
Grey
or
Album,
take?
yeah, with Danger Mouse.
Yeah, it
Great.
wasn't. Oh, shall I tell you what I think? No, it was. Well, the original was better. Let me put it that way.
Okay, let's
I'll
do a
be nice.
review. Bracket 1 again, we've got Led Zeppelin. Bracket 2, Prince. Bracket 3, Michael Jackson. And bracket 4, the Beatles. Nice.
So we're halfway done.
Halfway done. How we doing, people? You guys okay?
I was surprised actually. I like Danger Mouse. I thought when I listened to it, just to go back there again, I thought I would
Sure.
like it more, but I didn't. Yeah, but I like
loved
Danger
it. I
Mouse. I
absolutely
like
loved
his.
it.
I like
That
his- I
album
like his
had a
sound.
lot of people do like remixes of it, and like there was a Brown album that was really good. I just remembered now. Yeah. All right. Let's see.
Was Johnny
the-
Marr in Danger Mouse at one
As
at
you
one
guys
time?
talk, I'm going to be writing these down. Neil Young,
Don't think so much.
Modest Mouse. That's who. That's,
Modest Mouse.
Yeah, that's who he is with.
D'Angelo,
Okay.
Queen,
versus.
I hope it's someone
versus-
really good so I can argue like a motherfucker about it.
Lauren Hill.
Oh, I'm a bit disappointed there. I'm like, okay, well,
That's going to be a tough one. Kendrick Lamar.
Craig's favorite.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
We put that in one in just because Craig kept on insisting. Versus
You
Madonna.
got game, yeah, or whatever.
Oh,
Madonna.
Madonna. Interesting. Okay.
All right. A lot of my selections in this one, which makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Dilla. Fucking
I'm
hell.
gonna turn on some lights.
So, Mark, you've only got Neil Young in this section so far, right? Really.
Mhm.
And James Blake, damn. So this is gonna be hardcore Tom stuff, which is
Oh, right.
for better or worse.
Interesting.
Um,
Okay. I'm ready.
All right.
Mhm.
I guess we do have like some generational stuff here. We've got stuff like Neil Young, Queen, Madonna. That's gonna be obviously like. All right, Neil Young versus D'Angelo.
Neil Young. I listened to a D'Angelo track today, actually. It was a cover of Cruisin', originally
Yep.
written by the great, do you know?
I know the song, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
this is why I
know it was a
said,
cover.
yeah, written by the great Smokey Robinson,
Okay.
who, could very easily have been on this list. We can't include everyone, but certainly one of the great American songwriters, Motown superstar, wonderful.
Pioneer.
Music was made for love. Cruising was made for love.
Yeah.
But did you like the cover?
No, I like the original. I even like the Huey Lewis and Gwyneth Paltrow version. But anyway, for me,
There's a combo.
well, yeah, but it's a great song, written by Smokey.
Right.
Anyway, Neil Young for me, singer-songwriter, also has connections to the Canyon, but originally Canadian. So
Buffalo Springfield.
Buffalo
and
Springfield.
Thereafter, yeah.
Yeah, the Birds. But
Crosby, Stills, Nash. and
yes, CSNY. Great singer-songwriter. He kind of lost his mind with the whole Spotify thing, but still On the Beach, Harvest, After the Gold Rush, Tonight's the Night. What else? Help me out here, Craig. What am I forgetting? Harvest Moon. That's a good one.
That, yeah.
No, Harvest.
The Unplugged album.
Harvest and
the
Harvest
Unplugged-
Mood. Those
Yeah.
Harvest
The
my
Unplugged
bad.
album
My
brought
bad.
him.
Yeah, my bad.
Sorry, the Unplugged album brought him a lot of new attention back. Well, it's old now, but then it was a lot of people.
I remember that one,
for the
actually,
first
yeah.
time.
Rust Never Sleeps.
It's
Yeah.
a good album.
Yeah.
He's very prolific. I mean, he has a huge back catalog.
Also, a great performer, guitarist. His band's kick ass. So, no question about it for me, Neil Young.
Okay. No question for me, D'Angelo. Again, that's just an ignorance thing, really. Like I do like Neil Young's sound, and his voice is quite soothing. I'd like to get more into his music. My dad's a big fan. But D'Angelo for me, like, has two of the best like neo soul albums ever. Untitled is just like, for me and my friends, that's just like a masterpiece. Produced
Devil's
by
Pie.
Questlove and the Aquarians. Very much influenced by James Brown. They used to just sit in the studio and like watch these old soul performances for inspiration. And his first album, Brown Sugar, is like incredible as well. I mean, just
I heard the
track
title
Brown
track.
Sugar. What's that
Interesting
song
video
about, like,
too.
the kill something motherfucker? Shit damn motherfucker. That's a great song. I mean, the lyrics of that song are so cool. It sounds funny after singing that, but shit damn motherfucker. I love the lyrics to that one. Hania, are you
Must
gonna
have
go
been up all
D'Angelo
night
with me?
thinking that one up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go D'Angelo as well. Really beautifully produced albums and just incredible voice.
Oh
like,
yeah. All right, let's flip that coin.
Well, Craig didn't vote.
Oh well, I'm
Oh,
Neil
sorry.
Young.
Okay.
I'll save you the time, right? For all the reasons Mark said, and Cortez the Killer, the live version.
To the
Who would
coin
like
flip.
to? Who would like to?
Why don't you do it,
pick?
bro?
All right, I'm going Neil Young is heads. So
Okay.
the eagle thing. And heads it is.
All right, Neil Young by D'Angelo.
Sorry,
All right.
I know you like
No.
D'Angelo, but sorry about that.
It's love, bro. It's
You
love.
win some, you lose some. eh?
Absolutely. I feel like I've got lucky on quite a few. So, I think we can. I'm gonna go Queen here.
Me
despite
too.
loving Lauryn Hill. So,
I hate Queen. So
okay.
actually, I'm going to go even harder. I fucking hate Queen. I really
Okay.
find getting my fucking nerves. So
Lauryn Hill.
absolutely,
Hania.
I love Lauryn Hill, but I'm going with Queen as well.
Oh wow! Let's hear
I'll
more.
take it on the chin.
Let's hear more let's hear more about this Queen hatred, because I can, I suspect I know some of your reasons, but I want to hear.
Think the Velvet Underground did a huge amount with very little, then Queen are just the tip of the iceberg, I would say. I think they're, okay, I'm being a bit facetious, right? Because Brian May is a really good guitar player. Great guitar sound, no problem with Brian. He's nice to badgers and nature and stuff like that. He seems like a cool guy. He's got a PhD in astronomy or something.
Yeah.
Cool, right? Brian's the man. No problem with Brian at all.
I've got a Brian May story I'll tell after you finish, though. Might change your opinion.
John Deacon quit the band after he just had enough, and he's like, oh, fuck this, and he just went away, never did any more music again. Obviously quite happy with his lot in life. So that leaves the two elephants in the room, and Roger Taylor is, as a drummer myself, he can play drums. There's no problem with his technique or his drumming or whatever, but he never seemed to want to be the drummer. He seemed to want to be the front man in the band. You watch the video for, what's the big song called? The Wayne's World one? The name is
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, thank you. Right? How can I forget? My emotions are getting ahead of me somewhat. You just see him kind of doing the falsetto bit or the higher bit in that video, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, all right. Fair enough. I liked Wayne's World, but that was about it.
Love Wayne's World, by the way. Important film in our family.
Right. And one of my best friends, who sadly passed away a year ago today, actually, so it's a bit of he was the biggest Queen fan ever. So we had some kind of arguments about this. My friend Derek and I, he was a huge Night of the Opera. So I listened to a lot of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was turgid rubbish. I was just like, this is guff, I was just bored. And then the icing on the cake was the year before, or was it the year after Live Aid? Maybe it was Live Aid, then the year after. So Live Aid was the big comeback. But Bowie got them back on their feet again, doing the Under Pressure thing, right? Without Bowie, they wouldn't really be anywhere, I would say.
Mm.
Live Aid, stole the show, but it was a bit like, fair enough, all right, he can play, they can do it with no problem, right? All right, all good. Gets the crowd going, everyone had a nice time, the sun's shining, fab. And then it was just like Radio Gaga and all this other crap after, and it was just awful. It was just...
It's a kind of magic.
Fuck me, just
I like that song
and
too.
they've not even got to the good bit yet. And they played fucking Sun City in South Africa during the apartheid fucking regime. So fuck them, right? So you can take all that other stuff and you can just wrap it up whatever way you want, but that's the kind of icing in the cake for me. Freddie Mercury was somewhat of an okay frontman, I would say. I don't think he's the best ever. He's obviously got some chops, but it's a bit overbearing and a bit kind of, it's just like a pantomime act, it's like a drag queen kind of performance. I'm like, all right, fine, but is this the best ever? Is that it? Is this the best ever? So,
all right,
Queen.
I'm going to make you hate them even more. So my friend, my Canadian friend Stefan, worked as a server at the Hard Rock in London. And Brian May was notorious for bringing in his entire family, a huge entourage of 20 people. And they demanded immediate service, they ordered
Do you know who I am?
Yes, exactly. A shitload of food, of course, and drinks, and they never paid because it's on the house, right? And they never tipped. He never tipped. So this fucking millionaire astrophysicist, guitar hero can't even give a tip to a server at the Hard Rock, even though everything is fucking free, food and drink for his whole family, and he can't even spare a tip for the minimum wage employee. So, yeah.
And he's married to a woman who used to be in EastEnders.
I mean, I respect where you guys come from, but obviously it's not a personality contest, right? I put in Kanye West.
Apparently Queen is, though, right? Queen is all about Freddie Mercury.
It factors
I'm saying pick Kanye West. For me, it doesn't. It's I'm picking based on music.
Hey, I didn't know this about Sun City. Hearing that definitely takes them down a notch. I'm still going Queen just because to me they're more influential than Lauryn Hill, but they ain't gonna go far. They're gonna lose to Neil Young. Let's put it that way. All right, next.
If you have anything to say about it.
Hmm.
All right. So Kendrick against Madonna. I'm gonna go Kendrick here. Madonna is a great artist, but Kendrick for me is
Madonna.
next level.
Madonna.
You're going Madonna, yeah? Okay. Hania and Craig.
Madonna for me.
Okay.
What's
Yeah,
I never
definitely
thought I would
Kendrick.
say.
Kendrick, like almost greatest of all time, possibly. Like just amazing rapper.
Yeah.
Coming from someone who wasn't familiar with his work because I'd heard all about him, and then I watched the Super Bowl thing. Right,
that's why you're voting Madonna.
I was like, that's it, right? I was like, okay, this is okay. Like, all right, I don't get it, right? I'm like, okay, I just don't get it.
I mean, I would say if you genuinely want to like explore his catalog, like, yeah, the Super Bowl would not be the place I'd suggest starting. You know,
how many songs did he play? I'd read a list of them. There was like 15 songs or something, or excerpts of songs, I suppose.
I mean, I feel like Super Bowl performances are.
Yeah, I feel like that's what you do at the Super Bowl, or at least that's lately.
You got to get a montage of your best.
I'm not really a big fan of that format, you know.
So
all right.
What's it? Is Madonna not one of the biggest selling, maybe arguably the biggest selling female artists of all time? She must be.
Sure, but that's not
first two albums are great pop albums. Frozen's a good album. Everything else is rubbish. But
no, I think she's got a lot of great songs. But I just think Kendrick, you know, for people like in the hip hop world, like Kendrick is a really like moving artist. You know, lyrically, he's just
how or why?
Huge subject matter, very profound lyrics, very vulnerable lyrics.
Who does his music? Or I don't know this specific
I guess different
terminology
producers.
for his.
I don't think who does his production is how we'd usually say it.
Or his beats, or whatever whatever
production
the
is
term is. But who does these?
I think
when I'm listening to things like that, I'm listening for someone who's not a huge hip hop rap fan. I like some of it, of course, but for me, I'm listening to it from a beat point of view first before I get into the lyrical part of it. And I didn't really hear anything like that. I didn't hear any good hooks. I didn't really hear anything.
I mean, again, like if you listen to the album, like Good Kid, Mad City, I think you probably get into some of the singles and like some of the hooks on there, you know? And it's like,
I never set out not wanted to like him. I just, when I heard it, I was
absolutely.
Like, it's that okay.
So let's coin flip.
And he didn't have a band playing with him. What was that all about? You have like 1,500 dancers, but you can't have a band. So I was like, what's that all about?
It's the Super Bowl, though, man. You know, like it's.
You can still have a band. Prince played. Tom Petty played. Bruce Springsteen played.
Sure.
They all had a band.
Okay.
I'd rather watch that. I'd rather watch someone with a band than like 1,500 dancers.
It wasn't a great performance. I mean, I would have preferred to see him with a band as well.
Me too.
And he could have, but he didn't. So
that might say more to me if I see someone with a band, I suppose. Maybe that's just my...
Yeah.
A bunch of people dancing about. I'm like, all right, cool.
I love dancing. You know, like I grew up dancing, so for me, dancing is like amazing to watch. But
fair play.
Yeah. Let's flip it.
I mean, Madonna's great at dancing.
Absolutely,
if nothing else.
And I love that about her as well. And
so you won't be upset when she wins. Madonna number.
Okay.
Heads it is.
God, I'm terrible at this.
All right, so Kendrick.
After all that, Kendrick just sneaks through. All right, so.
All right, this is a tricky one for me. Two artists who are on my list. Jay Dilla, the producer. We did a podcast about his Donuts album, and James Blake, who I think has created a lot of like extremely unique music sonically in the pop world, kind of coming out of the electronic scene with a very charismatic and powerful voice, plays the piano beautifully. I'm going to go Dilla, but I'm happy. I love both artists.
I'm not terribly familiar with either, but because we did the Donuts episode, I know Jay Dilla more, and you know, I appreciate his experimentation, and I like the fact that he's a connoisseur and he's using a kind of pastiche, and he's like reviving these 70s classics. So I go Jay Dilla.
Hania?
Yeah, I respect Jay Dilla so much, but I would pick James Blake. I just have more of a connection to his songs.
I feel you. And it's hard for me because as soon as you say that, I'm like, okay. But I just have that with Donuts. Craig, did you manage to listen to these guys at all, or?
I did. Yeah, I was familiar with the names more than the back catalogue, but I prefer Jay Dilla to James Blake.
Okay, so
There it
let's
is.
go Dilla there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Neil Young versus Queen.
Neil Young.
Queen.
Neil Young.
Queen.
Oh my goodness.
Here we
Don't
go
let me
again.
pick. Don't let me pick.
In a world of pain. All right, here you go. All right, I better stop doing that showbiz voice.
No, I like that.
Who would
Like
like
the
to call
previews
it?
voice. Yeah, like the
Who would
trailer's
like to
voice.
call it?
Craig, I think you should call it.
Phew. All right, so Neil Young is Heads.
Okay. I still don't know what Heads is, but
The Eagles.
It's the eagle-y thing.
Okay, the Eagle.
And the eagle it is.
There you
Okay.
go. We got to let Craig pick the coin toss. He's much better at that than me.
All right, I'm going Kendrick here.
Jay
Yeah, we're
Dilla.
talking about like the.
I'll also go Kendrick.
Jay Dilla.
Jay Dilla for me.
Okay,
Someone else like to call it.
sure. Let's go Eagle for Kendrick.
Eagle it is.
All right. So we have who's generally considered the best rapper of his generation, Kendrick Lamar, versus. Do you have a sexy label you can give to Neil Young?
Iconic singer-songwriter. I mean,
Iconic singer-songwriter.
We've used iconic
We did it quite a few
many times.
Yeah.
But they're all
Give
icons.
something a bit more
you know?
specific though. Like, can you give him like a bit more of like a, give him some specificity here? What's his signature sound?
Well, he's had so many. I mean, he's also been considered as a
Folky.
maybe not a pioneer of the grunge world, but part of it. Like the
Yeah.
he's not afraid to get fuzzy and loud and a wee bit sloppy musically. Just to give it that kind of rawness. And things like that. As Mark
Absolutely.
was saying, there also the folky kind of
Mm.
feel to it as well, and a lot of fragility in his voice and his lyrics as well. I would say.
All right,
As
let's
well
flip
as
it.
the two sides of that.
Let's
Mm.
flip that shit. We agree with that? Flipping? We're flipping, hang out, we're flipping?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right, here we go.
Craig, you
who'd
call
like
it.
to Well,
Don't trust myself.
all right. Well, I'm going Tails Neil Young. So Tails isn't Heads. It is.
Damn.
All right. Kendrick comes out
She.
thanks to the steadfast.
Well, at least I'm open and honest and transparent.
Thank you, we
much
appreciate
like
that.
There we go. I'll take one.
So
for the
if we
team.
do end up splitting this show, then this
We're
will
gonna
give
have to.
this is going to give you and Mark and Craig a chance to explore Kendrick's catalog a little bit. So hopefully the strong endorsement coming from the Bethels is enough to make you guys give him a bit more time.
Well,
Okay.
why are you assuming that I haven't listened to his shit?
Yeah, I
This
mean, I
dick
think-
ain't free.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I
a
didn't
great
say it
poem.
wasn't. King
Okay.
Kunta is as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I'd like you to, go even deeper. Am I allowed to make that humble entreaty, sir?
I have pimped more butterflies than you can imagine. So,
Thank you.
I
All
don't
right,
even know what you're
Take that as a
talking
yes.
okay.
Iconic
Mhm.
Polish rap group. is
Seminal.
Pharrell.
Seminal. Use that adjective. Seminal.
no,
Full
I don't
of
like
semen.
what you do. I don't like what you do with that adjective.
Well, okay. Oh, my
Versus
goodness.
Pharrell.
I don't
It's,
know. I don't know
okay.
what's going to happen here.
next up, we've got Paul Van Dyke. Why am I getting? I feel like it's more of my stuff, and I don't want that. All right, Paul Van Dyke, progressive trance DJ from Berlin, versus Iggy Pop.
Hmm.
Interesting.
It's two sides of the coin there, right?
All right. Next up, we've got Black Sabbath, ladies and gentlemen. Black Sabbath. I know them because of that terrible reality show. Versus Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, that is.
I like
Was
to
it
see
called
yours
Being-
go up
Being
against each
Black
other.
Sabbath, was that what it was called, Tom? Have I missed that
I don't know.
one?
It was pretty bad.
During the mad cocaine years when no one can remember what was going on. Was it that one?
No, it was later on. It was like he was already like geriatric.
Was it not
Didn't
like
you
the
give Ozzy
Osbournes, right?
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne.
So
Wasn't he in Black Sabbath?
Yeah.
I was making a joke.
Okay, my bad. All right. Bob Marley. That'll be interesting to see who he goes up against. Ooh, against the Rolling Stones.
Hmm.
All right, interesting lineup here,
Yeah,
folks.
there's going to be some heartbreak in this bracket.
So we're very, very fast review. Apologies, but we got Led Zeppelin, we got Prince, we got Michael Jackson, we got the Beatles, we got Kendrick Lamar. Who's going to come out of the sixth bracket, folks? Caliber Shistere against Pharrell Williams.
All right,
Anybody
this
want
is
to take this?
yeah. I mean, Pharrell Williams happy? No, he doesn't make me so happy. I'm gonna go Caliber 44. just for that black cat that gets fucked in the ass.
Fair point. Did I miss that one also?
Well, we did an episode on their...
Was this the one you did recently?
Their
The one
iconic
you were
album.
doing it together, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one you were doing it to. Yeah, I
Yeah.
listened to some of it. Yeah, I did. I checked some of it.
I like that. That bassoon or whatever it is.
Yeah, grube czarny kot,
Yeah.
wlazł na płot
Yeah.
i mruga.
I think it's more interesting
All right, I'm
than
going to
anything Pharrell has done.
use ChatGPT a tiny bit here, and just to let you guys know, especially let Hania know. I mean, Mark and Craig, I'm not saying that in a dickish way, so you may know some of these tracks.
Yes,
but
you are.
Just to, well, you may know some of these tracks, but just this is like the songs that we can credit Pharrell with: "Grinding" by Clips, "Hot in Here" by Nelly, "Drop It Like It's Hot." That doesn't get any bigger than that, really, in terms of beats. "Southern Hospitality,"
Who sang it?
Ludacris. "Drop It Like It's Hot" was Snoop Dogg. "When the pimp's
Oh.
in the club, ma, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot." Does that sound familiar?
No.
Okay. "Milkshake" by Kelis, or Kelis. "Frontin" by Pharrell and Jay-Z. That was an incredible song. "Holla Back Girl" by Gwen Stefani. Beautiful by Snoop Dogg. "Excuse Me Miss," Jay-Z. "I'm a Slave for You," Britney Spears. "Rock Your Body," Justin Timberlake. "Lap Dance" for NERD. "Happy." So that's like some of the tracks that
I'm gonna
very
change
song.
my vote to Pharrell. You convinced me. Even though he also produced that Blurred Lines song by that son
I'm
of
stealing all
Robin
my
Thicke.
fucking shit tonight.
Alan
Mark.
Thicke.
I'm
Sorry.
reading-
Sorry.
I don't have any notes, man, but you've stolen them.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Anyway, I'm with Mark.
I'm gonna go Pharrell as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pharrell.
Okay.
I think he wins by default for me, but anyone who has a song called Happy can go fuck themselves.
That's a great
as far as
song.
I'm
I
concerned,
love that
you know.
song.
What about the Stones?
Just because you wear a hat, you know, I'm like, no, I'm not having that, man.
What about the Stones? Happy.
That's all right. It's ironic. They're
Okay.
not fucking happy.
All right, I'm gonna Paul Van Dyke versus Iggy Pop.
Iggy and the
I'm gonna go with Van
Stooges.
Dyke. I question Van Dyke as an overall artist.
One
Sorry,
thing
go
we
ahead,
haven't
Craig.
talked about musically, though, is like the time and the place for music. We talked about it briefly about going into a club, I think Tom mentioned earlier, but this might be a good example of a time and a place where Paul Van Dyke is that, you know, that time, that place in a club, or, you know,
With
you're
ecstasy
ready-
pills.
You're getting ready to go out for the night and you're putting some tunes on it, if that's your thing. I can't think where else it would be. No, for Paul Van.
Driving, so many.
No, that's a
amazing
bad
drives.
thing. I'm just saying that's where I think it would.
As I said,
there's a
driving.
lot of people in a club.
A
I love
trendy,
driving to
a trendy
electronic
bar.
music.
Okay, I mean, fine, yeah.
Walking on the beach. I love listening to some progressive house.
A hipster bar.
Yeah, sure.
But
Ibiza,
let's not
right? You know,
let's not
the
forget
whole island.
let's not forget Iggy's night clubbing. If we're talking about
Love that
clubbing,
song.
yeah, exactly. And that's Iggy
I
solo.
got no beef with Iggy Pop. I just don't know his catalog, and Van Dyke's got a couple the best progressive house albums that I've ever heard.
I don't dislike him at all. I mean, I'm quite pretty okay with it.
Yeah.
If we look at it from another perspective, I mean, the Stooges, it's going back to a bit like what we talked about the Doors and things like that, where they were. I don't really like that pioneer word, but let's just use it anyway. So they were kicking out the jams and doing all sorts of things that had never been done before, or at least never been captured on film before, and it was a real kind of live experience. If going to see Paul Van Dyke is also a live experience, it was just something unique.
What is the best album?
Who was it we talked
by
about?
Iggy
Joy
Pop?
Division? No, it was Velvet Underground. It's maybe another one of those ones that
Yeah,
people refer to it as their part of their listening experience growing
yeah,
up.
Raw Power especially. I love Funhouse. The first Stooges album is fantastic. Then you've
Is
got
there an album
Iggy's-
that you would say has no skippables?
yeah, those first two Stooges albums.
Okay.
Yeah. But you've also got The Idiot and Lust for Life. Lust for Life. You're a big what's that movie? Trainspotting.
Trainspotting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah.
And I mean, as soon as you say it, I can see Trainspotting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, So Van Dyke for me, Iggy Pop for the other gents, and Hania.
Well, Craig, did
Yeah,
you?
I think Van Dyke as well.
Craig, you said Iggy, or did you?
Sorry, I'll vote last if it's okay.
Oh yeah, Hanya's
Okay, so
Van Dyke.
Hania and I are Paul Van Dyke. Yeah.
Mark, I have to go with Iggy Pop, I'm afraid.
All right, so coin flip time.
All right, I'll call. Iggy, heads, Eagles.
Heads it is.
All right, I'm okay with that. Okay, Black Sabbath, Jimi Hendrix.
This is crazy. Craig, I'll let you start the conversation. I mean, how can we even decide here? This is so difficult.
All right, where to begin? Black Sabbath, much to some people's surprise, there's been a lot of different versions of Black Sabbath, different singers, but the most iconic one is the original. And I think as far as rock bands go, those first 5 albums, Mark?
6,
Definitely
I would say
first 4.
6.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Masters of Reality. Oh, yeah. Anyway, the names will come back to me. But
Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Paranoid.
Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Paranoid, of course.
Never Say Die, even. Some people don't like that, but
those first albums are just...
Sabotage. That's a great
Sabotage,
one.
Yeah. Matt's got it all down. So those albums and that type of music was just... had never been heard before. There's a great clip on YouTube. They're playing in Oakland or something like that in the early 70s. There's like, I don't know, 100,000 people in a field, and they're just like these kind of scruffy looking guys who have just kind of woken up, and they're just like blowing the whole stage up. I mean, it's quite a performance. Of course, the costumes and all that kind of add to it as well. But there's a lot of different things with the musically. Tomek Iommi, one fingertip missing, much like Django Reinhardt.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to kind of relearn how to play, or play in a certain way that he could only, because he built like a thimble kind of thing for the top of his finger. And that's how he learned to play again. Bill Ward's drumming, this kind of really heady mix of jazz, rock, swing, all sorts of things he brought to it, and really, really heavy. And Geezer Butler, great songwriter, much underrated, I would say, as well. He came up with the lyrics for War Pigs, for example, and I think he did all the lyrics. I'm not too sure.
Most of them, yeah.
Did. And Ozzy Osbourne, he's a bit like Freddie Mercury or that type of character, right? You either buy into it or you don't. And I think he's that kind of Marmite character. You put them all together and you've got this just kind of banging rock band. I mean, they peaked 6 albums, I would say. Yeah, probably Mark's right. And then it kind of went a bit Ronnie James Dio. Now, that's a good album. The Dio album's good.
Heaven and Hell. Yeah.
And then he did some other stuff with like random dudes, and it was always Tomek Iommi and kind of some other dudes.
Ian Gillan.
I mean, it was all a bit of a mess. And when they got their stuff back together again, that last tour they did, The End, was really some great performances without the original drummer.
13 is a good album. That
that was the last album they did.
Yeah,
yes, right.
with Rick Rubin, who managed not to fuck it up. You know,
right? So funny that. Jimi Hendrix, though, Mark, I'll pass this one on to you then.
I mean, as I hear you talking about Sabbath, it's like, God, how could they possibly lose in the first round? But then, of course, you've got Jimi Hendrix, like possibly the greatest rock guitarist of all time, an underrated songwriter, as you say, great performer. Acts as bold as love is part of my musical DNA. Like, I started listening to that when I was 15. I mean, he was my primary guitar influence at that time. Of course, you got to consider that Iommi is the king of riffs, or heavy riffs at least. This is, I would almost like coin flip to make my own choice, but as much as I hate to say it, because of my early love for Hendrix, I think in the last 10 years, Sabbath has been more influential for me personally. And this is despite the clownish nature of Ozzy. I mean, I saw Ozzy solo. This is the concert where I got mugged by 3 dudes who wanted my Ozzy t-shirt and claimed to have a knife. And I was such a pussy that I took the shirt off and gave it to him instead of standing my ground and getting stabbed. But I also saw a guy. There was a guy in front of us with his shirt off, and there was like a tray with a needle, and his wife or nurse or whoever it was shooting him up like during the show, and he would just every 15 minutes shout. So that was quite an experience for a young 15, or maybe I was only like 14 or 13 at that time. But and that was the original Sin, the Ultimate Sin tour, which, that was a terrible album. Anyway, what I'm saying is, despite the ups and downs of Ozzy's solo career, I just think those first 5 or 6 Sabbath albums are undeniably great, and they probably had more of an impact than the Hendrix discography.
Can we speed up a tiny bit, if you don't mind?
Well, I'm justifying my vote for Sabbath. I'm going to go Sabbath.
I'll take Sabbath too.
I'll go Jimmy.
Also go Jimmy.
All right.
All right.
A small one.
It's totally.
Let's just get me a beer. So
nice.
That's how I was talking to her.
Cool.
So she's having one for herself. Who'd like to call?
One of the youngsters.
Hania?
Sure. I'll call heads for Hendrix.
Tails it is.
Black Sabbath. Go through.
I mean, that's a tough one, right?
That
if you like that kind of thing.
It really is.
It's a tough one.
I feel like you guys deserve that one, though, because I feel like maybe Hania and I's choice, I don't know, I'm not going to speak, Hania, maybe it's different for you, but I don't know either, so I feel like Mark and
are
Craig
you experienced in the thing?
Electric Ladyland. I mean,
Electric Ladyland. Yeah,
this is just a terrible matchup because there's no way they shouldn't both be advancing. But there you go.
All right, next
Only
up,
be one.
we've got Bob Marley versus the Rolling Stones.
Another difficult one.
Yes.
Make the argument for Marley, which I assume you're going to do.
I am, yeah. Cheers. I will just make the argument that I like the sound better. It's just an aesthetic sound. I do like the Rolling Stones. I never listened to them like I did the Beatles, so I'm pretty ignorant. But Bob Marley, yeah, he just has such a moving sound, great lyrics, and I just can't imagine the world without Bob Marley.
And the Wailers.
The Wailers,
absolutely.
Peter Tosh and Bunny.
Definitely. So I'm going Bob Marley, and but I recognize that his catalog doesn't stand up probably to the Stones.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was with the Sabbath Hendrix matchup, It's just like there's more quality material there. So this is why I have to go with the Stones. I mean, not only because of that, I think overall the Stones have just been far more influential to me personally. And the history is just undeniable. It's almost 60 years now?
Yeah. Craig and Hania,
and they even as recently as their latest album was not terrible, but
Hackney Diamonds.
Yeah,
was
that wasn't terrible. Has some good songs on there, but the song they did a few years before that, Doom and Gloom. If that had come out in the 70s, it would have been one of their biggest hits of all time. It's a great song, and lyrically, musically, it's well produced. They're still
went
kicking
through a lot
ass.
of different evolutions of the band as well. I mean, back from when it was Brian Jonesy's band, and then it went a completely different direction, and then Mick Taylor and Ronnie Wood, and now they're into whatever incarnation of it is now. But the final one, I'd imagine.
So you got to go Stones too.
I've got to go Stones.
Yeah.
Bob Marley's fantastic.
Yes.
Big fan.
Yes.
If you've ever read the book,
Sorry,
I had to look up a history of what were called? A Brief History of Seven Killings. Don't know if you've read that.
I think our dad had that book. Yeah.
What's that?
Gives you that whole kind of backdrop to Jamaica and the CIA in the 60s and stuff.
Wow. What's it called?
Wild. My memory's really bad. A Brief History of Seven Killings.
Oh, show notes.
So it's about trying to assassinate Bob Marley as well.
Yeah, which they did. They gave him that cancer shot, right?
It was his toe, I think it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, this is another tough matchup, but I gotta go Stones.
Hania?
Yes. I think I would go with Bob Marley. I have seen the Stones live.
I had that unfortunate experience.
I had that unfortunate experience.
See, if I saw them in like the 76
wild,
tour or
but-
something like that, it would be phenomenal, right? But unfortunately, you get this rendition of it. You get this kind of yuppified.
Maybe so,
Yuppies,
yeah.
but you know what I mean. You get this kind of a different crowd, as it were, to the shows
stadium
these days.
tour.
Yeah.
I saw him in the 2000s. It was still good, but yeah, wasn't like.
I saw them at Steel Wheels tour. So
That
was
is
what, 90 something?
That's an underrated album. What's that song?
89
Terrifying
or something. It was 90?
Terrifying. That's a great track. Yeah. All right. So what is it? 2-2?
2-2.
2-2.
Okay.
Oh.
Interesting.
I will toss a coin if someone likes to make a call.
Not me.
Go ahead, Craig.
I'll take heads Bob Marley.
Okay.
And tails it is.
All right. Rolling Stones. All right. We've got semifinals with Pharrell versus Iggy Pop and Black Sabbath versus the Rolling Stones.
Iggy.
Pharrell.
Can I tell you why Pharrell's not going to get my vote? Other than what Mark had
Other than
already
the happy
said.
thing?
Other than the happy thing. I mean, no song should ever be called happy, right? And actually mean it. You know, it's incredibly annoying.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, how many times has he been done for copyright? Yeah, for copyright infringements. Once,
I've never
twice,
heard
3
that.
times, a few times. No, I'm not saying he's not the only one to do it, of course. But he's been caught a few times. It was the Robin Thicke Bloodlines thing. So what was it they had to give up? So this shows you how much money they were making, right? So
they
apparently
ripped off
after
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye, right? So
Marvin
apparently,
Gaye, why
according
is
to
he
Google-
not on the list?
Marvin Gaye's not on the list, but anyway, $5 million to Marvin Gaye's family. I think that's what Google told me anyway. And I thought, you know what? He's probably making 3 times that off Marvin Gaye's money, so fuck him as well, right? So therefore, Iggy. So I mean, what is it they say? Nation's the biggest form of flattery or whatever it is, right? It's kind of so. Yes, we're all influenced by certain things, but if you're just going to go out and steal someone's riff, you know, you're like, and then kind of make a shitload of money off it and kind of pass it as your own.
I mean, I've seen
Well,
enough
it's not
clips
cool.
of Pharrell working in the studio.
He's
to
not the
know
only
that
one
he's-
to do it, right? I
Yeah,
should say that.
Led Zeppelin has some
The biggest blaggers on the planet, right?
Yeah.
So
has some issues
Absolutely.
with that too, but
hmm.
yeah, depends on
All right.
what you make of it. I don't hold that against
That being
him,
said,
but-
I did like the song he did with Daft Punk as much as I'm kind of embarrassed to admit it. I actually like that song. Is it Get Lucky?
Yeah. Why would you be
Lose Yourself
embarrassed?
to
It's
Dance?
like
Did he do
great,
both of them?
great songs. Yeah, he did
They're,
both.
they're great songs, but I kind of a little bit me dies inside because I really disturbs me, man. I
Okay.
have sleepless nights if I had to listen to that song anymore.
Bless you.
all right. So
Bless you.
is it 2-2 again?
It is. Yes.
All right.
Da, 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 da. We should need the theme from the A-tune, or the A-team or something like that to kind of make it more exciting right in the background. Tom, go for it, mate.
Back
Yeah,
to the
let's
media
do-
board.
Let's do numbers for Pharrell.
It's heads.
That's Iggy Pop going through.
That's Iggy Pop.
All right.
That's pretty long.
Black
It's
Sabbath versus the Rolling Stones.
Gotta
I'm going Stones.
Gotta go Stones.
I'm going Stones.
I have to go Stones.
We'll be voting for the Stones.
All right. Stones versus Iggy Pop for the winner of this bracket.
Stones.
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 Stones. All right.
All right. We are on to our 7th of 8 brackets. Let's do a review of the first 6. We've got Led Zeppelin, Prince, Michael Jackson, The Beatles, Kendrick Lamar, and now the Rolling Stones. So, some nice
There's
homework
2
we
left.
have in front of us.
Pretty even.
We've got a
brackets.
week
Evenly
off
spread
coming up,
out.
so I'll have some time to listen to.
We just got to
artists
do it
I'm
over a
ignorant
week
about.
next time. Right?
All right. First up, we have the Icelandic goddess Björk. Come on, Björk.
Mm.
Björk is going up against Kino, the Russian band. The only Russian group on our list. Next up, we have Sun Ra going up against The Who.
Ooh, interesting.
So, 2 of Tom's against first, and then 2 of Mark's. Not that there isn't crossover. Cast. Ooh, big I'm a big fan. And I think Hania is as well. It's a powerful choice versus Morrissey. Ooh, that might get testy. And
gloves are off, right? Here we go.
finally, for the last two of this bracket, we have Tom Waits against Biggie Smalls, the Notorious B.I.G. Some amusing matchups here. First one is Bjork versus Kino, and like again, I'm happy to go fast, but respect if you guys want to talk as well.
Bjork.
I'm happy to go Bjork here.
Bjork.
All right.
I have to say, I watched the Kino video. I made a note of it. I never wrote down the video, but I liked the guitar solo, and I quite liked some of the videos I watched.
Awesome.
They were quite.
Yeah, you should check out their.
It was new, and I was like, all right, this is quite. Yeah, but Bjork.
Cool. All right. So we've got Sun Ra versus The Who.
I'll take The Who.
Yeah, I have to as well, just because overall they've been more influential throughout my life. Like they were the first British band that I really, even before the Beatles, like I was into them from the beginning. So
I'm gonna go Sun Ra,
sentimental reasons,
because just because from whichever artist I was gonna explore, like if I were to explore one of these catalogs, I think I'd be more keen to hear the Sun Ra sound. Just my personal preference aesthetically.
But you listened to a lot of The Who
yeah,
recently.
and I liked it. I did like it. And there was a song that came out in Severance, the show that I've been watching.
Eminence Front.
Yeah, which was really cool. And yeah, that's a tough one. Now, I mean, The Who are cool, but as I said, I'm curious about
You're
Sun Ra.
just playing devil's advocate.
No, I'm not. I swear.
Okay.
All right, and then you, Hania?
The Who.
Okay,
yeah.
so The Who, that's good. We can avoid a coin flip there. Outkast versus Morrissey. This is an easy one for me. Like Outkast.
Morrissey.
Outcast for sure.
Morrissey for me.
Oh, man.
Have the
If Outkast
first
go out
Outkast
here,
album. If it is that first album, the one with Mrs. Jackson, and
that's not their first album.
no,
It's their
I didn't think
third.
it was, but it
But
was
it's
the
all
first
good.
one I
Yeah.
had, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, it would be the first.
Sure.
But no, I liked them. Yeah, I thought they were quite different. That's why I liked it, but it was just a bit wacky and a bit,
This is
good performance.
This hurts
and
me
It was
though
interesting musically.
that you guys are gonna put
But,
Morrissey up
Morrissey
over Outkast.
is
Well,
different
let's
gravy,
let's
as they
see what
say.
the coin toss says, huh?
This
Maybe
is-
it's fair for me to pick since I'll probably
Okay,
lose.
please.
All right. So Morrissey is the number.
Heads it is, Mark. You were right.
So Outkast go through, right?
Mhm.
Thank God, Jesus. Okay. All right. Tom Waits versus Biggie.
Tom
I'm going
Waits.
Biggie.
So wait.
Hania.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Biggie.
All right. To the coin flip. And we can make the arguments maybe when it gets like the Outkast Biggie, I think could be, if it gets to that, would be a trickier one.
You mean Outkast
All right,
Tom
so-
Waits?
Exactly. Outkast Tom Waits. All right, Craig, let's go Outkast for the Eagle. Sorry, Biggie for the Eagle.
Well, it's numbers.
All right, so Tom Waits.
Tom Waits.
Versus Outkast. All right, Bjork versus The Who.
The Who.
I'm going Bjork.
Bjork.
The Who.
Craig, you've got the luck on your side. You call it.
Anyone want
Come
to
on,
say anything
Björk.
else about Bjork, for example? I mean, she's had a huge, well, not huge, but quite a big back catalogue. I mean, is it varied over the years? I know people who've seen her in concert and really enjoyed it, and she's a bit bonkers, of course, but I think that's the kind of part of the charm to it, right? She's unique in that sense, but anyone want to
I
tell
think
us
that
why
you
Bjork
hit
is
the nail
better
on the
than
head.
The Who?
The key word for me is like the uniqueness.
Idiosyncrasies?
Yeah, I mean, the sound that's just, it's got that kind of landscape sound that you might get with like a later Radiohead album. Very emotional music, symphonic.
Poppy as well
riveting.
at times.
Pardon? Yeah,
Poppy
absolutely.
at times.
Absolutely.
Maybe not
Yes.
so much of late as
No, but definitely. I mean, songs like Hyper Ballad, very poppy. It's also
Big
quiet.
time sensuality.
Big Time Sensuality. Love
Big
that
Time
song.
Sensuality.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean-
Emotional. Yeah,
Yes.
she's great. I saw her
Yeah,
live.
yeah.
I saw her live in Seoul
All right, she did play there as well.
with Tomek's ex-girlfriend
Tickets.
and first love.
Let's focus on it being Tomek's ticket.
Oh,
Okay, she's
okay.
she's not my first love.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
All right, let's flip the bitch.
wait.
Is that okay?
what-
No,
Did
sorry.
we vote?
Go, Mark.
Well,
we
I
voted.
vote.
It was 2-2.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was 2-2.
Okay,
yeah.
so Craig,
Okay,
you call it.
I'll take Bjork for Tails then.
All right.
Heads it is.
Okay,
Oh
the
my
Who.
All right, this should not even be an argument in my opinion. But anyway, sorry guys, I'm just kidding.
You can't get a
I'm
gimme.
being an
You
ass.
can't just get a gimme.
I'm just being an ass. I apologize. Outkast versus Tom Waits. Yeah, for me, Outkast have how many really classic albums? Like 3. I know that doesn't sound like that much, but in a hip hop catalog, it's pretty good. And I'm not trying to downgrade hip hop here,
And
but
you're not including like Andre 3000's like solo album, or you're not including the solo albums, or you are?
I am, I guess, because I'm thinking like ATLiens, Aquemini. Oh no, I guess so. Four classics: Aquemini. Sorry, ATLiens, Aquemini, Stankonia, and then Love Below, Speakerbox. So that's all like, and the consistency of those albums is just crazy, and the changes in sound, and then the flute album. I actually like it. I actually like Andre's flute album.
Andre's performance as Hendrix.
Yeah, right.
In a film?
Yes.
In what?
Yeah. What, you don't know
I didn't
about
see
this?
it, but I heard about it.
Was this not the film they couldn't actually use any of Hendrix's music?
I don't know. I remember I didn't see the film, but I saw a clip of him.
Too. But there was a whole thing about the family not letting him use
that. That wouldn't surprise me. His sister is pretty strict with that. But there's like a scene of him at that first London performance when he does Sgt. Pepper, and it's Andre playing the role of Hendrix. Interestingly, I mean, I won't be upset one way or the other, but I'm gonna go Tom Waits just because, I'm a singer-songwriter myself, so I'm on his side for this.
What, you're saying Andre doesn't write songs?
Well, but is he?
His songs are not like the typical beat plus rap. I mean, especially like
I know,
like Love Below.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm
just saying.
agree. Big Boys may be more in that vein, though, right? Like, not being an expert at all, but like
you're right.
More
he wouldn't be as
soul,
right.
more melodic soul type songs are the Big Boy songs, right? Like.
No, the other way around.
Like the way
Big Boy's
that
just
she
a rapper.
moves.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but Big Boy's like doesn't sing, whereas Andre does a lot of singing.
Well, who sings that?
That's just that's actually a guy named Sleepy Brown. So it's like
okay. So I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Tom Waits for me, just for whatever reason, but not a strong opinion in this case.
Clip it up.
Well, Craig didn't vote.
I haven't voted yet.
I said
so
clip.
I'm
I didn't say coins. I said clip it up. Do you know what that? It means like we're gonna clip that and put it on to shame you later.
Shame me for voting Tom Waits or what?
Over Outkast, yes.
Oh, okay. No, I'm fine with that.
It's my small solace, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't really sit in there's not a fence big enough for me to sit on here, so I'm going to have to go with Tom Waits just for the kind of musical versatility and the different experiences it is listening to Tom Waits records. I can't listen to all of them like many artists. You kind of dip in and out, or you have your favorites like Rain Dogs and so on, but I could listen to Rain Dogs. It never gets old.
Small Change.
Okay.
Tom Waits. Small Change. I mean, there's lots of them.
Real Gone.
Nothing against Outkast, as you said there.
No.
Interesting.
Not at all. All right, Hania, call it.
Heads for Outkast.
Tails it is.
Tom Waits versus The Who. Gotta be The Who.
Yep. Who for me.
Yeah, The Who.
All right.
Craig, are you down with that? Or would you what would you have said? I'm just curious.
Fine. No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
All right.
I just made the same argument again. So I just made the same argument again.
Despite Roger now being a douche, right?
Well, yeah, it's nothing new, is it? Right?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at our. We've got Led Zeppelin, Prince, Michael Jackson, The Beatles, Kendrick Lamar, The Rolling Stones, and The Who. And our final 8. So now I'm just gonna draw who gets who. We've got Pink Floyd in the number 1 position. I heard something open up. We've got Black Star. Come on, Black Star. We've got Roxy Music going up against Death Grips.
Interesting.
Tom, have you ever
Yes.
thought about getting a job as one of those kind of UEFA, the
Yeah,
guys at the Champions
exactly,
League things? I think
exactly.
you should put your
That's
CV
what-
in, mate. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Stevie Wonder and Liliana, my wife, has done a great job. I'm relieved that there's no artist missing from the box. We still have 3 left here. Versus Elton John. Interesting lineup there. Oof. I mean, interesting because they're kind of in the same world.
Mm.
Kanye West coming up here.
I would have preferred 5 and 6 to be split between 7 and 8 then, right? That might have been a bit...
Kanye West against Bob Dylan. That is hilarious. Okay.
Oh, no.
So,
Let's
All
get
right.
quirky.
let's cook. Okay. Pink Floyd versus Black Star.
Floyd,
Yep.
Black
I
Star
like
for
I
me.
like I like I
Star.
like Mos Def. I mean, but I'm not that familiar with this duo. I listened to some today, but yeah, I mean, Pink Floyd. Come on, musical DNA, top 5.
Yeah, I like Pink Floyd, but I'm gonna go Black Star not because I think they're superior, but just for aesthetic.
Wow.
And Hania,
Yeah, Black Star just had much more of an impact on me. I mean,
let's get to the coin then, right? Shall we?
Don't let
Right,
me
this
pick.
This is, what do they call this? The business end of things, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so-
Fergie time.
Tom, go for it, mate.
All right,
Tom,
I'm gonna go.
squeaky bum time. We can,
Yeah,
we
squeaky
can, we
bum
can go
time.
through them, right?
Let's go Eagle for the Black Star.
Yes, Eagles is.
Oh, sorry, Pink Floyd. I do respect you.
Huge upset.
At least I got to say bad things about Queen. That made me feel quite good. So I was like, all right, and I'll take it.
All right.
You win some, you
And
lose
by the
some.
way, just for the record, we're including Mos Def's solo catalog and Talib Kweli's solo catalog, which, there's a lot there.
Does that?
It definitely, because
Okay,
Black Star
right.
only had 1 album. So we...
Oh, now you tell
Yeah.
us. Okay, right.
All right. Roxy Music versus Death Grips. I don't know much about either of these artists, so I'm going to...
Roxy
Back off.
music.
Yeah, me too. I love Death Grips. MC Ride is a very unique rapper. Like, I've never heard anyone like him. His flow is insane, and the production's good. Their drummer is also a monster. But, Roxy Music, Brian Ferry, Brian Eno was with them for a while. Phil Manzanera is a great guitarist. Very solid.
Their albums
discography.
just sound really, really good.
Yes.
I mean, the way they're produced.
Yeah, and each one takes you to a different place, even though each one features like a hot model on the cover in
he
various
was with,
states of undress.
What was her name?
Jerry
Mrs. Jagger?
Hall was
Jerry Hall.
Yeah,
right.
and then the Amanda Lear, who may or may not be a trans woman. She's on For Your Pleasure, right? She's the one walking the dog. That's a great album.
Hania, do you have anything to say about either of these artists?
I've just been listening to them a bit this week, unfortunately, and I really enjoyed listening to Roxy Music, so that'll be my vote. I just wish that I had kind of listened to them earlier because it really fits into stuff that I really enjoy them, and I'm excited to listen to them more.
Interesting.
And I feel
What did you-
similarly to Hania.
What did you hear? What did you listen to?
I listened to the album that you wrote in
Siren.
the list we were all
Siren,
preparing.
yeah?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that one.
That's a
It was
great
just-
one.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
try,
Robert's a big Roxy Music fan.
Try
um,
Avalon next.
And I'd like to listen to Death Grips. I've never listened to them, but like Anthony Fontano, like this like really famous YouTube critic, he always bigs them up. So I would want to explore.
Yeah, this is a tough one, but Roxy, yeah.
All right, 2 juggernauts of singer-songwriting, Stevie Wonder and Elton John. This is crazy.
Well,
Because I love both. I absolutely adore both artists.
yeah, I do too. But if we're talking about songwriters, Elton is only half of a songwriter.
Half of it, yeah.
Oh, I feel you.
Yeah,
Okay, but I'm
also-
talking about songs then, okay?
I
Just to
understand.
clarify.
I understand. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like, he and Bernie Taupin are a great team. And Elton is an amazing performer. I actually saw him live here in Taipei with just his piano. That was a fun show. I was a bit disappointed he didn't bring an entire band, but it was very entertaining. Great. But, Stevie is one of those geniuses like Prince and Paul McCartney that can just do everything, amazing songwriter, amazing brilliant singer. He can play every instrument. He's a producer. I mean, for me, it's got to be Stevie. And also, I think he's got like a spiritual depth that maybe Elton doesn't quite have.
I agree with that.
Just, Inner Visions. That's
Although
like
I don't want to hold that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, Inner Visions.
But I feel you.
Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say. Like, Inner Visions is like a religious
Inner
text,
Visions is incredible.
A Talking Book is also great. And I mean, yeah, it's difficult. Elton is not to be despised, and this is an unfortunate matchup for him, but gotta go Stevie. Can
I read you guys? I'm just going to read you guys ChatGPT, or I'm using DeepSeek because, in Russia, we go with the Chinese. But
keeping it real.
I'm going to give you the 10... According to DeepSeek's, like the 10 most famous songs, which obviously doesn't mean they're best songs at all, but just to get interesting to think about. So Elton John, they've got Rocket Man, Tiny Dancer, Your Song, Benny and the Jets, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Candle in the Wind, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, I'm Still Standing, Crocodile Rock. Obviously there's a lot more. And then for Stevie Wonder, we've got Superstition, Isn't She Lovely, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, Higher Ground, Living for the City, Sir Duke, You Are the Sunshine of My Life, I Wish, My Cherie Amour, Boogie On, Reggae
Happy
Woman.
Birthday.
So that's just, So that's just a tip of the iceberg, but just in case you guys wanted some.
Yeah.
Has anybody not decided on this one? Just curious.
Oh, I don't know.
Craig, have you decided on this one, or?
It's a tough one. I mean, it is a tough one. I think when you named the Stevie Wonder songs, that definitely swayed me. I mean, I was very aware of both of them, but there's a great Elton John album you can find online called, it's just the date they did this concert, so it's him, bass player and a drummer. So it was like his original band, and it's called Elevens.
I know what you're talking about. It's the date. It's very early.
1970. Yeah. And it was like a showcase they did for whatever record company in the States that they were looking to sign up for. That's a great album.
Yeah, I have a soft spot.
Elton John's a phenomenal musician. I mean, the stuff before he became a bit of a caricature, and was it Tantrums and Tiaras? Have you ever seen that documentary? He's a bit much, right? But that's his world that he lives in. I think he's had an interesting life, but musically he's brilliant. I mean, fantastic. Sure. That whole Jerry Lee Lewis thing going down, when you see the Central Park concert, whenever it was in the early 70s, stuff like that, brilliant. But I think Stevie Wonder edges it, just as Mark was saying there, for a bit more depth, maybe a bit more social commentary, and maybe, dare I say it, a bit more of a hook as well. Musically,
it's a really tough one for me. I like the fact that Elton John came to Russia during the USSR, so I gave him props for that. Some really funny footage of him performing to like stone-faced people in suits.
That song Nikita, right?
Yeah, right.
No, it's first I've heard of it.
DeepSeek didn't tell you that, but he did it, right?
No, yeah. Hania, what about you? Do you have any connection to either of these artists? Or much connection to either?
A strong one. I think Elton John did this song where in the video Robert Downey Jr. was like miming the words, and I remember that was the first Elton John
I want
song
love,
that I
but
liked.
It's impossible.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, that's rough, right? You're like, okay, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like, I feel like I never really got exposed that much to his music, more to Stevie's, so more connected there. Yeah.
So you guys Stevie are all going Stevie, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm not even going to vote. I'm just going to because I don't know who I'd vote for. No, I don't know who I'd vote for. So I'm happy that I don't have to make a choice.
Well, you can't do that.
Jungle King or not Jungle? No, Lion King or not Lion
King? So Stevie Wonder goes through versus Elton John, and our final. This is a tough one.
No, it's not. It's not tough at all.
No, I mean, I wasn't going to say that. I was trying to say something else. So you can talk while I compose myself.
Well, Bob Dylan, obviously.
I think I was going to say something like it's a tough one considering where Kanye's at right now. Like
what does Anthony Fontana say about Kanye when he talks about him? Does he just not?
I mean, he loves Kanye's like old stuff. He's not like there's no doubting Kanye's like he doesn't doubt Kanye's genius. It's whatever. I want to judge these people on their musical merit, but I don't know.
The word
Let's
genius
just
might
go.
be overused a bit in today's society, I think, Tom.
Let's
We're
just
talking
go,
about
Dylan.
music and sport and
I don't really want to fuck with
arts in
Kanye.
general.
Kanye got his place on our list, so we acknowledged his contribution to the hip hop.
Wait, not everyone voted. You can't just
No, I haven't voted
unilaterally.
yet.
Because I'm just sorry, I'm making some assumptions.
Right. Mark, I'll let you
Well,
take a stab at it.
Do I need to make an argument? Probably the greatest American songwriter of the last 100 years or more. I mean, you'd have to go back to someone like Stephen Foster for, that kind of influence.
That's great because Black Star is about to knock him the fuck out. No, sorry.
This is the band with one album, right?
Yeah, right. The band with one album is going to.
Wait, we need the air quotes band, right? Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry, right. Well, we'll do it right. Okay,
they're gonna
come on.
upset. They're gonna upset Bob Dylan. Yeah, with his 40
2
albums.
Sorry.
Yeah. He's got a
At least
couple. He's got a couple.
2 or 3.
I mean, yeah, another chameleon-like character like Miles Davis, the Beatles, David Bowie, always experimenting, always, trying something new.
Not always great.
Not always
everyone's
great.
Cup of tea.
Not every. People don't like his voice or
Not
his
everyone's cup of tea.
harmonica.
That's important.
Or his harmonica. But
Sorry, Tom.
No, I agree with that. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
Well,
Mark's
he's
making
Marmite.
some very.
I think he is the ultimate Marmite musician.
I mean, I'm in the middle on Bob Dylan, so maybe it's not really true for me. I like Bob Dylan, but it's not like his sound is not like. For me, music is so much like, I don't know, the way that you talked about music production with hip hop. It's like, for me, my ears are just so much more tuned to like beats, and like whether that's electronic beats or rap beats, or even jazz. I don't know. So the sound of Bob Dylan like just doesn't like grab me, the same way that like a rich, lush beat would, But I like his music. Like I do like his music.
fair enough.
I can give you my Kanye West story.
Okay, please.
I don't really have a story or an anecdote. I suppose it's more of a memory. But whenever he played Glastonbury, I'm not sure of the year, 2017, 2018, there or thereabouts, not sure. So I watched it, the BBC show it live.
Yeah.
I either watched it on repeat or it was on live. Kanye West was headlining Saturday night. So the big one, I guess they're all big Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. And he was headlining and I thought, all right, I'll give him a crack at the whip. And I was just like, okay, right, what? How does this even? So I kind of understand. Sometimes it's more style than substance. A lot of kind of things that are musically driven, right? So you're kind of thinking, all right, there's a hype behind this guy, whether it's Kendrick Lamar or Madonna back in the day or whoever. And I thought I had certain kind of prejudices before I started, but I watched it. I watched the whole thing, however long he played, an hour and a half or whatever it was. And it's him on stage on his own, was he either wearing all black or all white? And it was just like a white kind of sheet behind him, or, like a big one, obviously, playing to a backing track or whatever. And I thought, yeah, I could go see this in a pub somewhere. I was just like underwhelmed, I wasn't really listening to what his messages were about or what his songs were about. I didn't really know what his songs were about, but I thought, this is kind of underwhelming for someone who's supposed to be the next big thing or the biggest thing at the time. And I didn't really, for me, that was a missed opportunity. I thought he could have done so much more. So it was more like a ego trip for me, watching his performance. And it's like, I'm on the stage. You have to be a certain level of performer to play Glastonbury Saturday night, right? So that's the kind of pinnacle, or one of the pinnacles of live music, I would say. And I was thoroughly underwhelmed. I thought he could have done so much more with it. Brought his music to a much bigger audience rather than just say, look at me for an hour and a half to a backing track.
Okay, should we go Black Star versus Roxy Music?
Roxy, this is going to be a
Roxy?
coin toss.
Black Star, yeah.
Black Star.
Us.
Tom?
Black Star number?
Heads it is.
Roxy,
fair enough.
man, this one is difficult. Both deserve to advance. I got to go Dylan, much as I love Stevie.
I'm gonna go
I have
Stevie.
to go Bob Dylan.
Oh, this is a hard one.
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
I would even pass. But that I feel like that's not sporting. So I want to vote Dylan, but
Okay.
it's more of a recent feeling than for a long time.
Have you seen the film?
Complete Unknown, or which film or documentary? Yeah, I actually watched that this morning, but that's not why. But yeah, I saw it. I was like, I would prefer to watch footage of. I think I'd prefer to watch footage of just him and those people at the time, but it was still enjoyable.
Okay.
All right. This is pretty much a no-brainer as well, but if you want to go through the formalities, we can.
Well, Dylan.
Are we all going Dylan, or?
I'm not sure about Craig. So. Oh, really?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, okay. I'm tempted to be obstinate and just say Roxy Music. But,
go for it, man. I mean,
but if there's only going to be one, so it's pointless, you know. All right. We did it. That was, indeed
there's
a marathon.
One more, isn't it?
No, we did it.
Oh, that's it. Oh, good.
That's it.
That's
8. So we're at 3. This is a very long podcast. This is Joe Rogan length. Early Joe Rogan. Yeah. So...
yeah. Okay. Thank you. I've never listened to a Joe Rogan podcast, so yeah. Why break a habit of a life?
Yeah. All right. So thank you guys for joining. Let's do a review of who we're going to be discussing on a future episode. Assuming we're all up for that. We've got Led Zeppelin.
The Elite 8, right?
The Elite 8, yeah. We can have a chance maybe to listen a little bit more, particularly to artists that we don't really know as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Led Zeppelin, Prince. Why don't we can quickly say who's who we should go to for recommendations for each artist too. So for Zeppelin, we're going to go Mark and Craig for future recommendations.
What to listen to?
Yeah.
Okay, well...
As we approach the next...
Yeah, well, as I mentioned before, Led Zeppelin 3, 4, Houses of the Holy, Physical Graffiti, and Presence.
That's enough for homework. I mean, let's keep it...
Well,
I've got
anything you would add to that, Craig, or would
Celebration Day.
Okay, yeah, the live...
Is a live album.
Performance. Would you put 2, Led Zeppelin 2 on your list, or 1? Some people like 1.
Let's keep it.
Oh,
essential.
I'm talking to Craig. Okay, will you please allow that after 3 hours?
Oh, it is because after 3 hours I'm getting exhausted.
2's a bit bluesy, isn't it? So I suppose if you really want to get into the origins of the genesis of it,
can you guys narrow it down to 2 albums?
Physical Graffiti, because it's a double album. I mean, look, if you want their biggest seller and their most famous
listen to
album
Mothership. I think it's
4.
I don't care about that. I just want to know, why don't you guys each pick one album then?
Physical Graffiti.
And you, Craig?
Go listen to Celebration Day.
Okay. Mark, can you make a note of that maybe in the show notes, like the 2 that we've demanded as homework?
Mm-hmm.
Celebration Day gives you a bit of the flavor of the band.
Okay. Prince. Which 2 albums can we recommend here? I don't feel
Sign
in
of the
position
Times?
to say. Okay.
Sign of the Times.
And anyone want to throw out another?
Around the World in a Day is my personal favorite, but there's Purple Rain, of course.
Craig, do you want to pick this? What do you think should be the second?
Around the World Day is a good album. Let's do that.
All right. Michael Jackson. I think you guys all have some knowledge, so I don't think homework is as necessary for this one. I would say I love Later Michael, which kind of goes against the grain a little bit, because the mainstream consensus is that early Michael is the
off the wall
is the shit. Yeah, off the wall is more of a.
Who can forget the Dinner Jacket album? Right? The album cover.
I like Dangerous and History. Those are my 2 favorite. Beatles. I don't think we need to do homework for that. I've listened to a shitload of the Beatles, but I guess we could throw out 2 albums for the listener. So I know you like Revolver, and I love Revolver as well.
Mm-hmm.
The White Album.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vote for Magical Mystery Tour.
Okay. They get 3.
That's fair, right?
Kendrick Lamar. We're gonna go Good Kid, Mad City. And To Pimp a Butterfly. I guess, right, Hania? Would you say?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And Rolling Stones.
Exile.
For Mark and Craig.
He's stolen mine, right?
That's good. That's good. Well,
I'm just
give us
thinking
one
of a
more
different
anyway.
era. Sticky Fingers.
That'll work.
All right, very good. The Who.
Who's next?
Or Let It Bleed. I'm not sure. Oh, man.
They get 3 too. They're the Stones.
Okay.
Who's next, Craig? other Who album?
Pass. I'll let you take two, Mark.
I guess Tommy.
Well, or Quadrophenia. I'm forgetting about them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take Quadrophenia.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's do that.
And Bob Dylan, that's a huge, yeah. We've already done one. We've already done 2 albums on texting. So, but maybe something that we haven't done on texting.
Well, we're supposed to do Highway 61, so let that be your homework. Highway 61, and
Can I
yeah,
go Oh Mercy?
Sure, yeah,
Please.
yep.
That's my favorite Bob Dylan album.
There you go.
One of them.
All right, is that it?
Yeah, I'm exhausted. I don't know about you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for another beer, and I think the dog needs out. So yeah, I don't know what'll come first, but probably the dog.
Okay.
I mean, it's only 3:30 a.m. here, so
some of us have been doing it. Some of us can still do that. Have a beer and take the dog out, and it's not the middle of the night.
Aye.
all right. So
thank you so much. Go on, Mark.
Well, so the Elite Eight, we're thinking what? Maybe next week we'll do the live stream with those matchups, or how's this going to work?
Sure, I'm going on holiday.
Works
Like
for me.
I'm on break pretty soon, so I hope as long as I've got internet, which I hope I will, then I'll have a lot of free time.
Does it? Okay, so it doesn't have to be weekend.
Right.
Craig, what's your schedule like?
Yeah, I'm working a week, but I'm free Saturday all day.
Okay, so maybe next Saturday. Hania.
Or
Yeah,
Sunday.
next weekend is
Saturday
good.
or Sunday's good.
Okay. All right. So this has been. Are these going to be 2 separate episodes? You think, or
Friday night if anyone's free on Friday night too.
What do you think?
I think separate
Co-host?
episodes. Yeah.
Separate episodes.
What do you mean? No,
Okay.
I mean,
You
I mean
can
the
record them
Elite
all. You
Eight.
can record them all together, then split them up that way.
Yeah, I think it should be all one episode, but maybe
Okay.
released separately. But we'll see. We'll see. This has been all or part of season 4, episode 6 of texting, and we narrowed it down from 64 to 8 musical artists in the Pazz and Jop tournament. Amazingly, I don't know how we got through all this. There were some painful moments, but overall,
I still did learn anything about basketball. I'm really disappointed.
Well, we had some slam dunks and some layups and some air balls, I think.
Radiohead.
Who did they lose to? What happened there?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
Bowie didn't even get a paragraph, man. So it's like,
all right.
Yeah, that's a surprise too. But anyway, music is not a competition. Ultimately, we gotta remember that. So this format is absurd.
It is, but it gives us a chance to revisit our personal favorites and learn about some new artists we might be less familiar with. So that's always a good thing, And it's important to have these discussions to ask ourselves why we like or don't like something, It deepens our appreciation and understanding of music. So it's all for a good cause.
Yes, indeed.
Texting.